Hello and welcome back to the SkyBluesExtra podcast with me, Tom Ward. Delighted to be joined by Russ and Dean this evening. We're here to provide a comprehensive preview of the upcoming season and, of course, look at all the activity which has been happening over the summer break. Evening, chaps. How are we all doing?
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, unlike Milan how do we pronounce it? Van Avac?
We didn't agree on this.
We didn't agree, no.
No, unlike him, I did turn up for my media duties this evening. So, so yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a little different, I imagine. Lots has changed since last year, but yeah, lots to ponder. But yeah, looking forward to it. Excited.
Yeah, and obviously pleased to be back here at the Sky Blue Tavern, who once again are sponsors for the new season. So thanks to them again. And chaps, obviously we had some great times here last season. All three of us kind of interviewing some of the players. Obviously the pinnacle being Gyökeres last season, the best one we did. So yeah, it's been good fun in here, hasn't it? Over the last season or so.
It's been great, and since we've been working with them, the relationship we build up, the memories. I think the supporters who have come along have really enjoyed the evenings, and as you say, you know, Gyökeres and Wilson, sort of to round off the season was probably a fitting way to close it up, and it's and obviously, you know, the food. We've had some nice food this evening, haven't we? We've enjoyed that. Dino stayed away from the madras this time, though.
Yeah, no madras.
I mean,
no sweaty armpits before.
His pronunciation of Van Awak will change depending on how spicy curry he has. So
Van Avac, isn't it, or Van? I don't know. It will change about 20 times before we end this.
Let's ask Clive and see what he has to say.
Oh yeah, because we can really count on Clive for the right pronunciation.
As I said before we came on, Dino thought that Hamer was Amer for a season.
I will die on that hill. That the Brazilian pronunciation of Hamer is Amer, but you know,
yeah,
we'll go with whatever Gus wants. Whatever Gus wants from now.
Give him what he wants.
He can have.
Maybe that's
if
what he wants to go.
If it's pronunciation, if it's money, whatever he wants, he gets.
Yeah.
But we'll go on to that. I'm sure.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of Hamer discussion, I'm sure. Just a quick caveat before we start. We are recording this on Tuesday, the 1st of August. As close as we could get to the start of the season, but obviously giving enough time for you listeners to listen before the big game on Sunday. So yeah, apologies if anything has moved on by the time this goes out or by the time you're listening to this. So yeah, let's get into it, chaps. I mean, obviously a lot has happened since we were sat here sort of 12 months ago. Quite an incredible season, really. I actually had a quick look back at our predictions for last season, if you remember. But no one predicted Wasps to go. No one predicted Sisu to go. Dino did predict 5th place finish.
Got the right place, yeah. So you know, you're banking on me this evening to get the right prediction for this year, hopefully.
Dino did also predict the loyalty tickets point system to go as well, and that was
more out of hope than anything.
Yeah, I think.
Listen, I still think there's teething problems with that system.
The biggest problem with that system is when I go on my network and I see Thomas Ward and 1,500 points or whatever it is, David Moore 1,400, and then I see Dean Atkinson 0 points.
There's 0 points. Yeah, what is the point of me having a season ticket? Like with my high flying job, what can I do?
Yeah, obviously an incredible journey last season. Obviously ended in disappointment, you know, all the way to the playoff final, all the way to penalties, all the way to sudden death, to go out at the final hurdle. Dean, how are you sort of feeling? Are you over it? Are you ready to go again?
I'm ready to go again because I've missed football, but looking back, I mean, I haven't watched the final back. I haven't looked at any videos from that day. It hurts. It definitely still hurts. And I think until we sort of get ourselves in that position again, we probably won't forget it. Hopefully it's this year so we can sort of right those wrongs. But yes, it's honestly, every time I think about it, it's pure PTSD. It's really weird. Like I still live in the hope that we're gonna score that penalty, and it's still running in my head. Like I can still see it, and I can still hear. Like I think I told you this before, but where I was sitting, there was a group of kids behind. And all day they were singing, chanting, so happy. And I thought, this is what it's all about. This is their future. And then once Dabo missed the penalty, or like they're crying, honestly, I haven't got it out of my head. It's weird. Like every time I think about the day, I just think about them crying. And it makes me upset and makes me emotional a little bit because we were so close. But we've got to move on. And I think we've got a really good opportunity this year to put those demons to bed, basically, and go one better. And people have talked about this league being one of the strongest leagues the Championship's ever seen. I would say judge that on the end of the season, not the start of the season, because it's an unknown, really. There's a lot of new teams in this division. Okay, we've got 3 teams coming down, a lot of money. They've kept the majority of their squads, so they're going to be strong, of course. But people are giving kudos to 3 teams coming up, and I don't think they're as strong as what people make them out to be. So I think this is it's going to be an intriguing season. I honestly don't think it's going to be as hard as people make out.
But when people say that, to me, it's purely because of the perceived size of those clubs. Nothing to do with the circumstances around them. Sheffield Wednesday are a basket case. They're a circus, but because they're Sheffield Wednesday and
the history,
and you look at the 24 teams, you've only really got Rotherham as the sort of small club. Everyone else is a big club. People go, oh, it's going to be a really tough league, but actually, being a big club and being a good club are 2 very different things.
Well, look at the so-called big clubs last year. West Brom, where were they? Where were Norwich? Where were Watford? Those were the 3 teams everyone was saying, they're going to be trouble next season. Well, obviously at the start of last year, but they were nowhere to be seen. They had no input in the end of the league, the final position. So, I
think that also makes it interesting this year, because I think normally those sort of teams do go back up and are out the way almost, and then they're still in there. Big clubs, strong, big budgets. Plus the teams that come down, teams that come up. I agree with what you're saying. It's not just about the size of the club, but I do think they are better than I think they're better than the 3 teams that went down. I think who
came down? So it was Burnley came down.
Well, I mean, up from League One, the teams that went down. So Wigan, Blackpool, and Reading.
Yes.
Poor sides last year. I think they'll be harder.
Well, two of those 3 sides got numerous points deductions, and they were a mess. I mean, the thing with and I agree, because a lot of our fans will say, well, you'd imagine Norwich will right the wrongs of last year, the same with Watford. But I think when fans say that, it's just to find another way to sort of do us down. Like, we're a really good side. We were playoff finalists. We were 1 penalty kick away from not even being in this division. We'll be doing a preview right now of the Premier League. So we should have a little bit more. I just wish we had a little bit more confidence. I remember when we sat here this time last year, and we were sort of all had that hope that we could improve again on 12th. Well, why can't we improve again on 5th? Look at Luton. They lost last season in the playoffs, didn't even get to the final, and a lot of their fans may have thought similar, like, oh, that's it, that's our one chance, we've blown it, and then they went one step further at our expense, unfortunately.
And I think the fans are feeling relatively confident across the board. It feels like. I think it's good just to, have a bit of careful optimism going into the season. Ross, obviously, we've been keeping in touch over the summer, and a lot of discussions around, how the season might go. Compared to other seasons, how are you sort of feeling? Are you feeling confident? What are your thoughts at this stage?
Feeling probably as confident as I have since, well, certainly out of all the championship seasons, because it's a total different. It feels like a very different club. It's the ownership change happened halfway through the season. The landlord situation at the stadium. There's so much where this feels like a real clean slate. So that is exciting. I also think it's incredibly exciting that we had a player that we could sell for a club record fee. And, a lot of people were feared that, but I think we all knew that he was going to go. So to get a club record fee, and we did a podcast in January, and we were sort of going, debating whether to sell him in January. And I thought, stick it out. And I mean, we've got way more than I even thought we potentially could. And I think that's another exciting factor. Look at the signings we've made. Would that have been possible if we hadn't sold him for that? So I feel pretty confident. I think it's we've got a great team, we've got a great manager, the best manager in the league, and while Robbins is in charge, I'll always believe.
Yeah, exactly. He sort of sets the tone, doesn't he, for how the fans feel? And he seemed very, very positive over the summer. He seemed very upbeat. Go on, Dean.
Can I put to you, is this the first time Mark Robbins goes into a season with a bit of pressure on him?
100%. I
because
agree.
Pressure from the board, or from Doug King, or the fans?
just on his job, because it's firstly, how do you improve on what we did last year? Is promotion, basically. Yeah. There's only one way to go.
Not much more you can do.
Other than lose the playoff final again, is get promoted. And secondly, it's kind of like look at what he's had to work with, the shoestring budget. This is uncharted territory for him, going in with a war chest into a new season. The pressure now is to get these high-profile players, the big value signings, he's got to get them performing and performing quickly. And for me, that's one thing I don't think people are really talking about is the pressure. I mean, it's not going to go down well if this season ends up as a bust and we don't perform.
I agree.
I don't think he's going to lose his job.
But I think there's
pressure there.
I think there's more pressure on him for sure than other seasons, but it is a 3 to 5 year project. And Doug King said, if we can finish 3 out of the next 5 years in the playoffs, that's what we're aiming to do. And as we were saying before we came on, I think he spent some money, but it's from a standing start. He's got there's 12 players out the door. For one, we've got a fee for, fair enough, but he's had to invest a lot of money. It's probably going to take 1 to 2, 3 years to actually build a properly good squad where we have actually even more money to spend. And that's where the pressure will really come in. If in the third year we haven't made the playoffs again. But I think this year, I think it's not a consolidation season, but it's bedding in these new players, increasing their value and going again is how I feel.
See, I think the pressure this year, I think there is pressure, but I think that mainly will come from Mark Robins himself, because he will look himself and go, I got a 5th place playoff final finish off this hand I was given. Bottom in October, no home games for the first 3 games, and I still got to the playoff final. He's now then, yes, we've sold Gyökeres, but he's now got Ellis Sims, a name that people would know, 22-year-old, proven record last year. I think there's pressure from him. And I guess the way I've thought about this is, in previous seasons, last year, for example, I think no other manager in the league, if they were put in Coventry City in the dugout, would have achieved what Robins did. Whereas I look at our squad now and I go, this is the first time that Robins has had a squad that I think other managers could do something with. Yeah. Not necessarily what Robins will do with them.
That's the first time at this club since Chris Coleman had that really good squad in 08.
Like players who are coming in and know what they're worth and maybe have a bit of an ego and know that they're good players. Different management style, isn't it? Yeah. Compared to what he's had to deal with before.
I just think the pressure is on him to challenge at the right end of the table. And if we come up short, we come up short. But I don't think it's a case of him losing his job on that basis. But there is going to be pressure there because football's a fickle sport.
Well, he was untouchable, wasn't he? While Cisse were here, we could have. He was never going to be sacked. The only way Robins would have not been our manager is had he left. I do feel like now he signed a 4-year deal, which is the biggest signing we could have made was keeping Robins and Viviash. But I agree. I don't think there is anything this year.
Is that another mispronunciation of
Vivash? Depends how many beers. I don't know, mate.
Some kind of Danish international.
You read what our tweets and you read what some of our Twitter, mate. They drive me in circles. But
the bedwetters, as we like to call them.
Well, yeah.
We should definitely talk about the bedwetters at some point this evening.
We should have had a heading.
Yeah, just bedwetters. I mean, I put a heading here on my notes, bedwetters.
Oh, you've got it as a heading.
I've got it.
But any names in there?
There's no names, but there's just like points.
Fans getting arsey.
Yeah, like, fans getting arsey because their shit songs they made up isn't getting a song. You're not John Lennon. Like, get over it. I mean, I jokingly put a song out about Latte Baudière, and everyone's like, oh, this is great. And then next minute, like, oh, this is shit. But I'm not getting it, like, my knickers in a twist over it. I don't care. Like, who cares? Get over it.
For me, it's like, as soon as there's a sniff of a transfer, it's someone's tracking them on flight radar.
What is that about?
That's a new trend that's come out. And
that's borderline stalkerish, by the way.
Yeah. Although, we've come pretty far that we've got players coming in private jets to sign for us.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to probably come on a bike or something from somewhere.
Yeah, and it was like everyone lost their minds over a broken window at Brighton.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a reason why it was broken.
And it got fixed.
Yeah, and it eventually got fixed.
I loved it. It was like someone's dad fixed it.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that was like in the know.
Yeah.
Oh, and obviously people adding ITK to their names. Actually, just change that to FOS for full of shit for most of the time because it's ridiculous, some of the stuff coming out. And then there's burner accounts that have just popped up out of nowhere. And I caught one relatively high-profile Cov Twitter arty, shall we say, post the same tweet on his account before the burner account. I won't name names, but they're assholes. There's just no need for it. Like, it's just constantly spamming false narratives, rumours. It's just like, go outside and like get some fresh air or something because you're just ruining people's days.
Well,
and
that's
lives.
it, isn't it? People lap it up. And what I don't get with this whole summer, and I don't. every summer it feels the same. Last year people were getting their knickers in a twist because we'd only made one permanent signing. We only made 4 if you include Adaramola, who then went back. So we only made 3, and people were losing their minds over that. This year I thought, well, it's just Coventry City, it'll be the same. But it was just at a different level. You've got all these people going, my friend's uncle's dog told him this, so
sounds
this
like
is
Ross
happening.
Spence, doesn't it?
Yeah, but people believe
sorry,
it.
Ross Spence, but
People believe it though. And what the thing that was really winding me up was, people were lapping it up, and then it was just building and building this sort of quite toxic sort of atmosphere, because people were like, Doug King's a fraud, Robbins isn't happy, Dave Body's leaving.
It's about the 12 bullet points that appeared on Facebook.
Yeah, I am. The 12 commandments of bullshit.
Basically, people throwing their toys out the pram because a box went up. Newsflash, you were getting those boxes at way below cost for the last 5 years. There's a reason why the costs have gone up now. We're being ran by a proper businessman and like a proper business. And we don't sign the types of players we've signed this summer if we don't have those revenue streams coming in. There's a reason the prices have gone up.
But like season tickets, right? So, obviously there was the first sort of hoo-ha was, about the children's prices. I think everyone generally, with me, like a standard adult, standard zone, went up and everyone was pretty happy with that. And I think everyone really, logically would have said, yes, kids' price of 25 quid really just was doing nothing for the club. There was kids there
especially a load of adults were getting those and coming in on them.
So obviously you put the price up, and obviously you wanted people to go into this family zone, and then if people were sitting elsewhere to sort of try and counteract that, I'd put it up, in proportion to what it was, quite a bit. And a lot of people got, very het up.
I think that was a good change, though, in regards to them bringing the prices down for kids in other areas of the stadium rather than that family zone. I think that needed to happen.
But that was a toxic area because everyone went, not my king, and all this other stuff. He spat in the face of the fans, not naming names, but people were getting really, literally incensed by it. King then, he even said it on the radio, said these aren't finalised, but because the season tickets aren't on sale yet, it was just the Prem packages. He then met in the middle and brought them down to 125. Now, we had an owner for over 15 years who we never heard from. They never listened to the fans.
Here's your taxi.
We've got an owner who actually listened, and now to a lot of us we go that he listened to the fans actually, and he's met in the middle, which is probably right. Everyone else, some people who just don't want to take him for whatever reason, he's backtracked. So he can't win. He is damned if he does and damned if he don't.
What more do you want from an owner, really? To put something out, test, see what the reaction is, and then change it if
adjust.
He needs to. I think that's smart.
It's smart business.
I mean,
of course it is.
He's not going to get every decision perfect. He's coming to the football club. He's trying to do good things. He's trying to balance, generate more revenue, which we all understand why he's got to do that.
Yep.
With keeping the fans happy, and that balance is really difficult. But
you can't strike that balance though. You can't.
It's difficult. It's really difficult.
Everyone's opinions like arseholes. Everyone's got one, right? And so everyone's going to think differently.
And with football, everyone has different situations. As we know.
Yeah.
There were people who sat together with friends and they had to move. Like everyone's got different situations. You're never gonna keep everyone happy.
Nothing's perfect for
you can't
anyone.
please everyone.
It's impossible.
But again, people then we sold 15, then 16, 17,000 season tickets, and we hadn't made a signing. And again, people are jumping to conclusions, and they're saying, he's
pocketing the money.
It's like I deal in business.
I think if you want to pocket money, you wouldn't be in football.
No, exactly.
Yeah, this is.
He probably has to write a checkout.
Is where you lose money.
He probably has to write a checkout each week to underwrite losses.
Yeah, 100%.
Why would he get involved?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So
Man City write checks out to underwrite losses each week.
That's what I mean. It's a loss-making business, and a clever guy. Why would you go? You know what? I've got because some fans went, he's got no money, so I've got no money, and you know what business I'm going to take over? One that loses money guaranteed,
and also they don't own their own stadium,
they
have zero assets.
But what I look at is football is about outcomes. So people were not happy with the journey to the season ticket price, but the outcome is we got to a price and we've blown away last year's record. Last year's was a record. We've blown it away. The outcome of the stadium deal is we've got the best stadium deal that we've had since we returned. Ever. So that's
even
the outcome.
since we moved in, this is the best deal commercially we've ever had.
There was people on Twitter going, because Vic's agent was putting stuff out, and there was people on Twitter going, just mind his mental health, selling for 12 million. No, I won't name names, but no. What's the outcome? club record fee.
Yeah.
What's the outcomes for the signings?
Reinvested.
Ellis Sims, and we'll come on to them. But the outcomes are what I judge. And when the window slams shut, Doug King said it, judge me on this window, and that's what I'll do. But some people just want to jump in before we've even started. So, look.
There are holes. Commercially, there are holes. And I think it's probably important we bring that up.
Is this one of your headings, is it?
This is, as you can say, commercially, sorry.
Well, I think that this point is around, there's been talk about the sponsorship. Obviously, King of Shaves have come in as sponsor. People having question marks about the kit being so late and stuff like that feels a bit like the commercial department aren't quite up to speed as the football department are.
Yeah, and like you've always said, like they kind of like they've come along with the club for a long time, and there's no new ideas. There's nothing new in there. So maybe that needs to be revamped, and King will look at that and think and target it as a position in the business where that needs to improve massively. I mean, you can't go into the season releasing your home kit not being able to be purchased until the third game of the season. That's bonkers.
I mean, you go to the first game of the season, everyone's wearing the new shirt.
That's not going to happen.
Last year we had all three kits. I think I wore the purple one for our podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We still haven't. We haven't seen the second. Well, we have seen the second and third kit, but the club have not released it. There's those type of things.
Yeah. It's not ideal, but my sort of the other thing is people really wet the bed about it and get upset, and they go, well, lost revenue. But look, I don't know anyone who would buy the kit and then would go, well, you know what? I'm going to have to wait 12 days. So, you know what? That's it. I'm not buying the kit. I'll buy it anyway. Like, if you want to buy it, they're going to buy it. So, I mean,
I think it's the on foot sales, isn't it? Going into the shops,
of course,
you get a lot from that.
But that's the other thing with the brand new superstore that's going to be built near the players' entrance. Another thing to elevate us back up to being a proper football club. It actually feels like we're a proper club again with proper players. And the training grounds getting all this stuff done. There's so much going on, and obviously, I do agree. I think the commercial side needs to sort of be brought up to the rest of the level as well.
One other thing that cracks me up is people tweeting the club saying, "Where's my season ticket?" about a month before the season starts.
Doesn't this happen every single year?
We all know we'll all get our season tickets about 2 days before the season.
It always arrives.
We won't get them in May.
It doesn't arrive for me. I don't have
July.
one. But it arrives, and I see people getting happy because they got they post their Royal Mail picture on Twitter and stuff. So I mean, just relax, everybody. You see the match day ticket prices. Just everybody take a chill bit. It'll all come out in the wash.
Yeah.
Just think it could be worse. You could have 0 loyalty points like Dino.
Yeah.
So
What do I get? I should get loyalty points for doing this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's move on slightly and address the elephant in the room, which is obviously Gustavo Hamer. Again, obviously fast-moving situation. So I think a lot could happen this week before the season starts. But Dean, what have you made of this situation as it's sort of unfolded or not unfolded, you could say?
It's carbon copy of O'Hare last summer, isn't it? And we went on for about 20 minutes on the podcast, so I don't think we'll do that tonight. But it's a tough one because we know he's got a year left. He's an asset, a valuable asset. Double figures. Was it both goals and assists last year? Was it in the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
So name me another championship player in his position that did that. I don't think you can.
No one that springs to mind massively.
So I mean, he's going to be, he's coveted, and I think the problem we have is that it's unclear of his situation. Does he want? Obviously, he's got some personal issues, and is that the main factor of him not signing this deal? Now, if it is, and he wants to go home to Holland, we have a problem because we're not going to get the money, that the value for him from a Dutch club. It just doesn't happen. Dutch clubs do not spend £15 million on footballers. It doesn't happen. So, are we in a position where we've got to keep him for a year and let his contract run down and he moves on? Or do we accept a £6-7 million that will probably get offered by a Dutch club? You're looking at this stage now, you've got to replace him. Does £6-7 million replace him? Probably not for a ready-made replacement. We bought Gus for £1 million. It took him a year to get settled in, and then we saw the benefits of him in the second and third year. If we're going to go and spend £6-7 million, we need someone who's ready to go now to mix in with his team and push us on. I don't think there's anybody out there that's at that amount. So that's a major issue. And then if we sell him to a British club, is that what Gus wants? Is that what Gus wants to move just for a payday? And then we've got options there to get the 15, 16 million pound that he's worth. I think we're in a very, very sticky situation about the whole.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because if he wants to go back to Holland and they're not going to pay the money, that doesn't even, an extension.
We can't relocate to Holland, can we?
No,
that extension.
no.
So we can't.
We might send you.
Well, that's fine.
But that because my way of thinking the whole time has been an extension makes sense for all parties. Bump his money up for a year, and then there's a release clause, a bit like the Vic situation coming into this summer. It was like you can go at the right value, fine. But if they're not going to pay that in Holland, then is he going to run down his contract to get that, to force that move that he wants?
Yeah,
that's my gut. It's a weird one. Like we spoke before in, Robbins's quotes, and then you read the forum, and and then your head's just sort of scrambled. You hear all sorts of, because everyone.
I change my mind every 10 minutes. Someone's awake and think,
Heyman must have about 5,000 cousins, because everyone seems to have a connection to him. But
everyone's jumped into the petrol station.
No wonder he wants to go home. All his cousins.
My gut, though, if I really had to put my money on it, I think he's going to stay and play. But I think he will leave for free. And again, then we go back to that thing, don't we? We all knew that we needed to sell Vic. Doug King was just playing back against his agent when he said, well, if we don't get the offer, we'll keep him. And I do believe that Doug King is stubborn, but he's not stupid. With Hamer, like you say, if the most we could get from a Dutch side was, 6-7 million, are you worth keeping Hamer and then keep him added to the side?
I think based on the signs, and this has changed my mind, because a couple of weeks ago I was like, we've got to get rid of him. But if looking at the signs we've made now, and obviously a couple will come and talk about in the last couple of days,
we're going for it.
We're going for it, and
we're 100% going for those signings.
I said to you before we came on, if all of the players we've signed go up by a few million in value, which I really do think they will, most of them will, then
we
does that cover the loss?
We won't care about that £6-7 million that we could have recouped. Yeah.
If you sign 10 or 11 players over a year or two, and they all go up in value, and one or two go for free or whatever happens, is it the end of the world? Is it, Doug has the finances looked after? Should we worry that much about it? Should we just want to see Hamer play through the season regardless?
Well, you make a good point, and I think thinking about it, I think Doug King might go. He wants to leave. He maybe wants to go back to Holland, let's say, whatever it is. But he wants to leave. But no one's offering him what we want, so we're going to keep him. And then he's gone, well, if we're going to keep him, we need to go for it. Because
it's got people in around him that are worth that amount.
Quality around him. Let's get promoted, because then you go, well, you can go for free, but then we get 120 million from getting promoted. So I think,
and then you either go up or you've got a really valuable team anyway.
It's just that risk calculation.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it. It's the risk that you're going to take, and life's a gamble. And
Doug's a businessman.
We also don't know what's going to happen in 3 months' time. Hamer's situation, personal life, could be so much clearer. And
he could sign a new deal. Yeah, Yeah, exactly. It's not over. It's not, to me. If August slams shut and he's not gone anywhere, to me, it's like, well, he's not going anywhere for certain. I think think he could sign a new deal.
I do think within your last year, though, your agent starts getting you a deal sorted, don't they? I mean, January.
Yeah, but is he going to get the deal that he wants? Because the club could say, look, Gus, we'll give you 22.5 grand. That's what you're wanting. We'll also give you the ability to go home as much as you want, as much as it's feasibly possible to go back to Holland to be with your family, etc. Just giving those stipulations in there. And I think he'll have that trust factor with Coventry. He's worked with us. I think he'll get that. He'll get those little stipulations with us, whereas in other clubs he won't get those stipulations. So that might play.
He just seems to love the fans, doesn't he? He genuinely seems to have a love for.
And Simone Joe's is literally around the corner. So
a new one's opened. Everybody, head down.
And all the training videos and all the stuff coming out of the club, he looks really happy, which makes me think he'll be in a sky blue shirt when the window shuts. It's just we don't know on what terms he will be, is my gut feel. But we'll see.
Yeah, my gut feeling is he will still be here at the end of August, and he'll sign a new deal by Christmas. That's how I see the situation. Like, I don't see there's no stipulations to say that he can't sign a deal after the window shuts. That happens. So just everyone stay calm on the situation.
I'm trying to, Dean. It's not easy, mate.
It isn't
Not
easy. Listen, like we're all
But this is
so
but this is
invested
going to
in
be.
him.
This is where we're at now as a club. Like, look at Brentford. They sold their 2 best players for tens of millions, and they went up that year. This is going to be like, every summer we'll have this.
We have assets.
What's going to happen when
Yeah.
Sims is in the last year of his contract? Sakamoto is,
Listen, selling Vic was the start of the
we've
new
got
model.
good players,
Yeah.
so it's
That
going to
is the
happen.
start.
because
of it.
we're actually reinvesting. The
Yeah.
difference is, the fear was under Sisu, it'd be like we'd sell. And that's why last year when we spoke about O'Hare, that was, I genuinely feel like fear, like we're gonna like lose him and what we're gonna do with it. Because I think most fans accepted that one of the big 3 last year were going to go. None of them went. So actually, we were due at least one to go this time, and I agree. I'm not fearful because I go, well, we clearly got the model going. Robbins is
reinvesting.
Robbins, the man who the king of downplaying stuff. He used the word excited 3 times in 2 interviews. Now, if that doesn't get you excited, then I don't know what will.
And also, we're investing in young players long term.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
All
you need to
3
do.
or
When
4
you get
years.
a cash windfall like we did from Vic, that's exactly what you need to do.
Apart from
Get
Billy
young-
Sharp, though, Alan Nixon said we're getting Billy
yeah,
Sharp,
yeah,
37-year-old.
don't listen to Alan Nixon.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is now about the multiplier, I'd say. It's the multiplier effect. How many times can we now do this repeatedly? And if Gus is part of that this year, then so be it.
You can't
know?
you can't hang on to players forever.
No.
At the end of the day, we've had him for 3 years. We signed him for £1 million. We've had him for 3 years. 3 good years out of him. He's been very good for us. If he went for some money and we did that year on year, if we made 10 times the money on each of our players,
As a fan, though, it just leaves a gap, doesn't it? It leaves that.
It does. For
There's
the
a
season-
massive gap.
for the
us.
season
Yeah,
coming, it does.
Yeah, and it's we're 5 days away.
But you would think that, I don't think he'll go between now and Sunday, but you'd think as fans, especially since Robbins came out, we'd have learned that there's been big holes that at the time felt as big as this hole filled. Liam Walsh went and everyone was like, oh my God, he was unbelievable. Haymick, this guy come in who no one had heard of, and everyone was like, oh, we spent 1.2 million now for CC, that was a lot. And we're thinking, is he going to be able to fill the boots of Liam Walsh? He surpassed it. And we've been linked with these other people and people haven't heard of them, but then they go, but they've never played in the Championship. It's like, well, how many games had Callum Doyle played in the Championship? None.
According to the Coventry King, we should sign Leon Walsh back and get John Fleck in on a
Fleck,
free.
yeah.
I thought
to
you were the
plug
Coventry King, not my Coventry King.
Talking of burner accounts, yeah. Cool.
Can I just confirm I'm not the Coventry King? By the way, thanks.
Haji Wright, talk to me.
Haji Wright.
What name?
It's come out of left field. This one isn't a little bit, but
You're not wrong.
you're not right either.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was crazy, right? I mean, I thought it was a bit of a... When I saw it, you click on the account, I thought, this is going to be someone with 16 followers or something. And suddenly it was 950,000. You go...
Yeah.
And then you start seeing it everywhere.
It kind of took me by surprise because I thought he'd already signed for Rangers. I saw at the start of the summer that Rangers had a bid accepted. And I thought, oh, okay. And then when I saw his name today, I was like, hey?
Well,
so,
because they'd made like a welcome video, hadn't they? It's on YouTube.
So So I was under the impression he'd already gone. But, I mean, I'm not going to say I know everything about the guy, but it's a coup.
Yeah.
Looking at his stats, looking at his attributes...
25.
He's a coup, and that's what the whole model gets you.
Yeah.
Is basically these players that we've shopped at Aldi and Lidl for the past 10 years. We're now shopping at Waitrose. So that there's a difference there. How can you not be excited by that?
I mean, you can't. I mean, I'm jumping around the room at the thought of him coming in. And
We are filming this.
Yeah,
So you are not jumping.
Well, I will be tomorrow.
Not all that curry inside you.
But no,
trying to say.
honestly, I was absolutely pumped with Ellis Sims, and I think the way we did the business as well, him coming in before Vic actually went, was a significant shift to what we've done in the past when we sold McNulty and then scrambled around for 6 weeks trying to find a replacement. So that was good. But I mean, this guy, we've all been screaming out that we need another striker because Godden, we know, can't always stay fit for a full season, as good as he is. And yeah, this guy, I mean, international, played in the World Cup, scoring goals in a good league. Bring him in,
We got him ahead of Villarreal, and Inter Milan were interested in him.
Wow.
So at Easter
massive.
time. So That's the waters we're now.
But let's all say it together. Not my king.
He is a Sisu in disguise, though, isn't he?
Yeah, Joy with her 0% is still pulling the strings. Some people still believe that.
But you look at the likes of Hadji Wright, no doubt to me that getting to the playoff final, that's been a major selling point.
Yeah. Well,
to potential signings.
Ellison said it in his welcome interview.
Yeah, and
he said, I watched the playoff final, I was really impressed.
Yeah.
So close.
Was he? Because that's probably the worst we've played all year.
Well, there you go then.
So if that's our worst, he's all over it. He can't wait. But look, we've always talked about, where you finish in the league isn't that important because you don't get any more money. But this just goes to show how important it actually is in your position. Maximising your position. Getting to the playoff final was a major, major selling point. Because I'll be honest, the likes of Van Avek, Sims, probably Bobby Thomas as well, we wouldn't be in those waters.
Yeah, it elevates us above a lot of clubs in the league. I mean, even the West Broms and the Norwiches,
your Stokes, your Prestons, your Blackburns,
all these clubs that they always used to beat us to our targets. The amount of times like a West Brom or a Stoke or a Swansea, Millwall would get our targets, and now it's the other way around. Mate, the amount of people I've seen Millwall fans tweet and being like, "Christ, Cov are doing good business."
Yeah.
That I wish we were signing players like this.
I wish they told our fans that.
Yeah, but we're making
when you see
making
other fans
waves.
saying it,
Yeah, 100%. And I think you look at the sort of the fees and agreements and stipulations we've put in place. Lots of them are, if we get promotion, you're going to get another X amount in the the likes of Ellis Sims, and probably this Wright as well is probably the same. Selling clubs don't agree those terms unless they see signs of that actually being genuine.
Yeah.
And actually being a target for that club. You won't see the likes of QPR, Bristol doing those types of deals. We're now in basically uncharted territory when it comes to transfers and picking up these players. It's such a different feeling as a Coventry fan. And all these bedwetters, I just can't see the reason why not to be excited. Like, this should be one of those seasons that we can't wait for that kickoff on Sunday.
It's that lull in the summer though. People
get bored.
Of course they do.
Mate,
I get that.
As soon as the game kicks off, we'll be slating the ref or the subs, whatever.
Sims
it is.
scores against Leicester. He will be. It'll be Vic who.
He didn't run for the ball. He's a lazy bastard.
Vic.
Yeah.
Not my
fat Vic. Yeah.
But
he's had one too many curries at the tavern. I heard Vic before he left.
Yeah.
Loved it down here. Absolutely loved it. The big man.
Yeah, he took some home with him as well.
Of course he did. Took the chef with him as well. By the looks of things, but there you go.
Let's chat a little bit about pre-season. Obviously, we don't look too much into the results of pre-season, but it has been good. I think was it 100% record we've had in pre-season?
Yeah, just the one draw, wasn't it? And the rest were wins.
Yes, just Shrewsbury, 3 wins, 1 draw.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so
also that doesn't happen for us going into pre-season, so we're definitely getting relegated.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Ross, good to get some fitness and sharpness into the lads. Feels like we perhaps could have done with a couple more games in there, but
better quality opposition, I would say.
Yeah, that was probably more than actually sort of quantity of games. I mean, I think obviously the plan was to do one, in our camp in Portugal, and it was sensible that we didn't because we didn't have the numbers. So it was sensible that we sort of just trained and instead. Yeah, I agree. I think potentially, I don't know who we would plan to play there.
I think it was Wolves.
Was it
moved
Wolves?
their plans around.
Yeah. But yeah, I think maybe slightly better quality opposition would have been good. But you listen to Mark Robins talk. I mean, he said it. He hates preseason. It is what it is. And we've got no injuries, or any new injuries. So yeah, all
Touch
good.
wood.
Touch wood.
Yeah, because this time last year we were talking about O'Hare, and you know what happened about a week later.
Yeah, nightmare.
Saved him from going to Burnley, though, didn't it? But
someone needs to. What are you saying? Someone needs to glass Hamer and Simone Jones to stop him from going.
Calling Streamway to keep a player.
Oh dear.
That isn't on my recommendation. I just say. So if you get caught, don't bring me on.
But no, it is good. The best thing, getting. I went to the MK Dons game and it was nice to see the players and win a game. The best thing is because. It's funny, our fans don't really pay much attention if we win. If we lost these games, then it would have been, hysteria. So it's good that we got the win. I think it just breeds a bit of confidence, doesn't it? And for Ellis Sims, a goal scorer, to find the back of the net, some nice clinical finishes. I think there's
and the play looked really good. I mean, Casey Palmer looks a totally different player, and I've got such high hopes from this season. I think a full season now for him is so important. If he can keep injury free, keep his fitness up. we've got a player on our hands, at least one of the top 10, 15 players in the Championship for me on his day. So, I'm really, really excited by him. And he's looked so sharp in the training videos. He's looked so sharp in all the training matches. So I'm super excited to what he can bring to the table this year. And I think he's probably got a little bee in his bonnet with what happened last year, especially the playoff final. He was so gutted that he couldn't perform at the levels that was required that day because he trained once before coming on the pitch at Wembley, and I think he knew his performance let himself down. But that was always going to be the case with what he came into that game with. So I think to himself, he's probably got a bit of point to prove this year, and I think we're going to be the benefit of that.
Obviously, the transfers we've been making, the nature of them, it's been taking a little bit more time. They've been a bit later than we might have expected. Do you think it might take a little bit more time for the team to gel? Do you think it will take a few games for us to be really up to speed?
Yeah, I think it will.
A bit like last year for different reasons.
Yeah, different reasons. I think it will. But I think it will for a lot of teams. I don't know many sides who go into the first game we are at full tilt.
I mean, speak to Leicester fans.
Yeah,
they feel
they're
exactly
all over
that
the
way.
gaff.
They
are all over the gaff.
They don't feel like they're ready at all.
That's what I mean. So not many
They've got
teams
a
think
mishmash
they
of
are
new signings
ready to
and
go.
all.
Because if a manager goes, I've not heard a single manager go, we're at 100%.
Look at Gareth Ainsworth today. He's like, we are not in a position to even start this season.
So, which is worrying.
When your manager comes out 3 days before the season starts.
I mean, if they're not bedwetting, I do not know what they're doing. But no, it will take time because obviously this is the summer of change that Mark Robbins had sort of alluded to for a couple of years and just didn't happen.
Most clubs have gone through that big change. There's a lot of clubs gone with big changes
Cardiff,
this year.
The difference is this: Cardiff
Birmingham,
actually, they made 12 signings and we all had them pretty low in like a team who could be down there, which they were, because it's obviously quality and quantity ideally. And we got rid of a load of deadwood. Now, this is what fans forget. People like Wagon, people who were out on loan, they were, taking a big chunk of the wages, and we're now replacing them with, if we can have a squad of 23, 24 outfield players who are all capable of starting in the first 11, that's the ideal situation. That's what Robbins has never had. He looks behind him on the bench and he thinks, Wardy might be the best option.
But
wow.
Wow.
But now
how much you signing for?
But
I don't think Doug's got that much money, mate.
Yeah. Maybe a Curry and a Madri at the time.
Give him what he wants.
But I think Wardy said it right earlier when he said about sort of tampering expectations. I don't think we're going to be singing off the same hymn sheet day one, but there's no doubt in my mind that with Robbins, Vivash and Lawrence there, we will at some point. And we can't judge or be too critical early on because we know what happened last year, and we know how it ended. So just
it's a long season.
It is.
Isn't it?
I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So how many cliches we got in this tonight? We should definitely have a cliche thing on the screen.
Yeah, like do a shot every time there's a cliche.
Yeah, God, we'd be absolutely steaming by now. 42 minutes in.
Let's talk about the summer transfer business then. Starting with the outs. Obviously, the big story was Vic moving to Sporting Lisbon for a deal worth 24 million euros. Ross, we kind of expected it. It wasn't a massive surprise, but albeit a lot of goals and influence gone from our side.
He also said after the you boys interviewed him here, I'm definitely out of it. I ain't going through that again.
Well,
where's my agent?
We didn't even let him eat. We just
cracked on. He was like, "I'm starving. Can we?"
Yeah.
We're like,
no. What's the celebration about?
Yeah. Well, he's still not told us, has he? He said he was going to tell us.
I think we know now.
Do we?
Yeah, Wardy knows.
Silence of the lambs.
That was it. There we go, everybody. But no, obviously a huge loss, and it's his contribution over the last 2 seasons, but in particular last season, can't be underestimated. He was, at this point now, the best striker we've had since we got relegated from the Premier League. He was brilliant, so unique. His dribbling abilities, his directness. He sort of changed our style of play, and that was sort of with how he grew as a player, but also with the injuries we had. We went sort of more direct, but it sort of played to his strengths. And he won his penalties, out of nowhere. And there was games which would have drawn, and and he somehow grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck and got us a win. So he is obviously going to be a big loss, huge shoes to fill. But like Mark Robbins has said before, you can't replace him. We're not going to get a clone of Vic. It's getting a different person in. but we've got an unbelievable deal. So I'm not like gutted. I'm excited for him, and I wish him all the best. I'm excited for us because we've had this influx of money that we've never had. You know, in League One we were selling people for like, you know, a Kit Kat and, you know, a Cadbury's cream egg or something. You know,
you've been all over that, wouldn't you?
I would be, mate.
He's putting the first bid in.
Give me what I want. No, but like, you know, 2 or 3 million here and there. But, you know,
I've just got visions of ex-Coventry City footballers just lined up in Ross's house because he's trading them for chocolate bars.
And so yeah, no, look, he was brilliant.
Yakubu in the cupboard.
Walking around with his torn hamstring.
50-year-old Yakubu.
But no, he was brilliant, and I think we all, you know, we obviously wish him all the best, and obviously we want him to do well because, you know, by all accounts we've got, you know, a sizable sell-on fee. So if he does really well in the Premier League side, you know, were to come in for him in 2 years' time, then we're going to make another potentially 6, 7, 8 million off the transaction.
It screams like 50 mil to the Prem in a year or two, doesn't it?
I think him not going to the Premier League is also good for us because we can just let him go and we can, you know, think about other things. Because if you see him week in, week out, you go, oh, what might have been.
It'd be quite nice to watch him on Match of the Day, though, wouldn't it?
No, I don't think
that's our player. We made him.
I mean, you know, the Portuguese league is available on all good streaming devices. Beginning with I and ending in TV, but it's yeah. I think for him that's a good move. I think for us it's a good move too because we'd have never got that sort of sell on 20% with a Premier League club. I don't feel, and it's more likely for him to perform and get better in the next 2 years of Sporting.
Get European football.
It screams
experience.
60, 70 million.
But he's more likely to move again, though, isn't he?
Exactly.
Because if he went to West Ham or something, he might not move. You know, for
then he goes to a foreign club and they don't pay as much money. So
I think that's the thing with Vic. You know, I think we'd all sort of accepted he was going, and then actually once you got yourself in that mindset, then the deal actually was. I was actually quite really happy with the deal. It felt like a positive bit of news when the value
also,
and everything.
it took 4 weeks to come through, and the first opening bid was £14 million. So to get another 7 million out of them,
and he was stubborn
with one year left,
and the stipulations on, you know, bonuses and sell-on clauses.
Great bit of business.
Unbelievable business.
Only our fans could go from, you know, last year literally begging. I was here. We had a Q&A with Dave Boddy was here a year ago, and people were going, "Please, just don't sell O'Hare for 5 million," like begging. And then we've got fans going, we're asking for too much. It's just like, what? Oh,
how dare they? It's mad how it changes. But yeah, I mean, look, Vic was brilliant for us. Best of luck to him. You know, he was great in that 2 years. We'll have those memories, but we move on.
Yeah. Other outs from the club, released from the club were Rose, Dabo, Maguire, Da Costa, Kane, Waghorn and Walker. To me, quite a lot of deadwood there. I'd say the only one there really was Rose, who I always think had a lot of talent, and we didn't somehow get the best tune out of him in the
same
Championship.
for Tyler Walker for me as well. I think they're the two that I'm probably most annoyed about. Not annoyed, but I thought maybe keeping them both around. But, you know, they want to go and play football. They're not going to be first choice here. So, again, thank you to everybody apart from Sean Maguire because and Da Costa maybe. Da Costa did give me a couple of laughs.
Going on an adventure.
I mean, this is the thing about when fans quote, you know, 12 players out, you know, I mean, Maguire, Da Costa, Waghorn were non-existent.
Kane hardly featured.
I mean, they don't really count as they didn't play. So
there's some big earners.
Our squad was thin because they
earners.
weren't, you know, that was already.
I think to me though,
look at how many of those players have been picked up.
Well, there it is, and you know,
Walker's gone back to Lincoln.
Yeah, that's
Rose
a great move for him. I mean, Walker was always going to be picked up by a lower end Championship or League One team.
Yeah,
it was always going to happen.
They'd go, you know,
he's worth it. Yeah.
He's at that age where, you know, they remember what he did in League One. You know, but to me, I looked at it and gone, we could have easily have kept Dabo and gone, we'll just get another right wing back, but we want to improve. So to me, I was excited. I was thinking, yeah, we're ruthless. Do you know what I mean? Like we want to vastly improve on all those players. So yeah, no qualms with any of them. I mean, Maguire apparently, for all intents and purposes, was a good laugh around the place. So help McNally settle in.
It's a bit why we keep you around, apart from you not a good laugh. But you know, like the Dabo situation, you're right. We could have had, you know, absolutely kept him in there, but you know, look at what we've done in that area of the park. We've basically traded our misses in for Margot Robbie, haven't we? He's like Dabo to Van Avek. It's just chalk and cheese.
Yeah. Loans that went back as well. Doyle, Panzo, McNally, Norton Cuffey, Wilson Esbrand. Probably a slightly different story here. Some good quality players there. Obviously, defensively, we lost a lot through the loans, didn't we? But as we'll come on to, we have replaced in that area really well.
Yeah, I think, particularly Doyle and Panzo, up in, once we've got that first clean sheet from sort of, October all the way up to sort of January, they were really, really good. And then obviously McNally came in January, and he was the best actually for me, to be honest. I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and would love to have, for us to have got him permanently. The two wing backs, I saw bits with Norton Cuffey, and I think Robbins obviously saw more with him than Dabo, because obviously he was playing. Wilson Esbrand was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. And I always go back with Robbins, like when in the key moments, look who he plays and who he doesn't play. He didn't play a moment in any of those.
And also
playoffs.
he played him halfway up the pitch more often than in his actual position.
So to me, and then Panzo had that. He never really properly recovered from the Wrexham game when he got sent off, and he had injuries.
I almost never recovered from his slip as well.
Oh,
so I was out.
That gives me worse.
I was out of that stadium. I was gone.
Yeah, it was I actually was like head and hands, like that was bad. But obviously Doyle was fantastic. McNally were the standouts probably over the season, because especially when we really went on that great one defeat in 20 odd games run, in the turn of the year.
Obviously with 12 outgoings, there was always going to be a big summer, and it's certainly been busy so far. 8 through the door at the time of recording. So let's go through those. First one, very early in the window, was Jay De Silva on a free from Bristol City, 4-year deal. Mark Robbins said, "We have been monitoring Jay for a while now and are delighted that, despite interest from elsewhere, he's decided to join Coventry City. He's a dynamic, attacking-minded wing-back with great technical ability who will add further quality and pace to our squad, and we look forward to working with him." So Dean, clearly someone we've been tracking for a while. I think reports would say we tried to get him in January, couldn't quite get it over the line. But yeah, much needed quality added to that left wing back position.
It's both wing backs actually, but yeah, the absolute perfect player, attributes wise, history wise, that suits our system of playing. And then we have Jake Bidwell as well to go alongside that. You've got for the first time in a long time, we've got options. So we've got 2 left wing backs now, or left backs. Now, if we want to play 4 at the back, we can play Jake Bidwell left back. If we want to play a defensive-minded wing-back system, we can play Jake Bidwell in that role. If we want to go for it, we've got Jay De Silva to play in that role. Jay De Silva can also play in an advanced midfield role as well, by the way. He's got that in his locker. So the perfect signing, young, hungry. He looked great, I thought, on Saturday in that friendly, up and down the wing. Positioning-wise, absolutely perfect. So no-brainer. And there would have been a lot of clubs going in for someone like Jay De Silva. So again, I think that's a real coup for us.
It feels like we track players quite early on. That helps us out as well. I think Van Ewyck, however you pronounce it, he said, one of the things he said was that we were tracking... Van Ewyck, yeah, I'm just going with Van Ewyck.
We should go call him Van the Man or something like that.
Yeah. Milan.
Yeah.
Milan's easy, isn't it? He was saying in his interview that we'd been tracking him for a while. We were showing such strong interest from very early on. And same with Jay De Silva.
This new scouting system in place.
That can't be true, because the forums say that we just put our hand in a tombola and just pick out a name and go, let's just sign in for 7 million.
Yeah. But, clearly with someone like Jay De Silva as well, we've been tracking him for well over a year. And then other clubs come sniffing, but he's like, actually,
Yeah, I've got this rapport already with that club, and we've got conversations going, and yeah, that's.
And clearly, those conversations with Mark Robbins go really well about how we play and how we develop players. It's everyone wants to come here, so that's a good.
Also,
one.
Casey Palmer, they're like best mates sort of thing, from the time at Bristol, and this is when I really think the players who are at the club, they love the vibe, like genuinely love it. So and when they did that little piece of content the club did, with De Silva and Palmer, you could sort of feel that actually Palmer was like, you genuinely meant it, like how amazing the support was, and he's obviously telling De Silva, and then obviously he signed, and yeah, I just think there's a real good vibe, isn't there? I can't imagine.
We've always had that at the club for the past 5-6 years, and it's so important, and that's probably the reason why the likes of Kelly, Godden are being kept around, McFadzean, just to keep that rapport going with the new blood.
Yes.
And just keeping that good vibes, good team energy going. People overlook that. People have questioned the Kelly extra year, but no brainer. in regards to keeping the squad happy, a proper captain, a proper leader figure to bed this new blood in and keep the good times going, because that's so important. You look at all the successful clubs, the rapport between the players is so important.
Yeah. Second name through the door, Ellis Sims, £3.5 million, rising to £8 million, with obviously add-ons and promotion clauses, etc. From Everton, another 4-year deal as well. Mark Robbins said he's a strong, powerful striker who also has pace and finishing ability, and he's a key signing for us. Ellis is a young player who is keen to continue his development and to impress at Coventry City, and we look forward to working with him. So Ross, big signing, kind of came out of nowhere really until sort of the day before. And obviously it was just a big marker point of that we were going to spend money this summer, and as you alluded to, before we actually sold Vic. So a really big statement from the club to do that early bit of business.
Yeah, I think it was huge for just the vibe. Like suddenly, it's mad what a signing can do. The positivity was just came out, and it was he's the sort of player that when you hypothetically get to the end of in the summer thinking, if we sold Vic, and it's all sort of theory, and you think, we could spend a bit on. Sims was someone who came in my head, but normally we just never do. Like you said earlier, we're never the club that get those players.
We're not in the market of that type of player. So
suddenly, when Sky Sports, and suddenly it all broke the day before.
I think it's when it was on Sky Sports. I was like, I was that Coventry City?
I was a bit shocked.
What's that? Spending money?
I was like, I was honestly quite sort of like,
breaking
my
news.
word, I couldn't believe it. Because
it's weird.
All we'd heard was, like Ipswich and these other teams, and you're thinking, you almost, and maybe this is why there's a bit of sort of trepidation with the fans, because we've been so used to the sort of same old thing of, we'd be interested in, he's gone to Ipswich for $3 million. Because I even remember, people saw that Ipswich had a bid rejected for him of like $3 million or whatever, and people were like, well, that's just done. We're not going to spend that. Not my king and all that. Whereas we did, and we then suddenly come back.
That's Ross's new done, isn't it? Yeah.
But
not my king counter.
But if you are watching Doug, you are my king.
I don't think Doug's going to watch this.
But no,
you might.
But again, brilliant signing. Like someone who I think, we obviously Everton recalled him, and then for some reason strangely didn't try and utilise him. He scored.
He scored against Chelsea.
He scored against Chelsea.
Great goal. Yeah. But that shows the marker of the player.
In terms of that left side.
He's got that in the locker.
In an angle. Yeah. He's got that in the locker. Sunderland was scoring goals, and almost like 1 in 2 almost, before he got recalled. So I think he's a brilliant signing.
The great unwashed from Sunderland are all obviously very salty about this, because they're like, he's shit and stuff like that. Bullshit. Like, you'd be chomping at the bit to sign that type of caliber player for $3.5 million.
But they don't care about Stino. No, they create threads on every single signing we do.
Exactly, yeah. So it's absolute madness. But yeah, a key signing for me, because we are going to have to change our style of play, and it's going to revert back to the sort of style of play that we played in League One.
Even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
With Maatsen high up, tiki-taka.
So we're going to revert to that style of play. It's going to be super exciting. But it doesn't mean that we're just going to stick to that. I think, like I said, we've got options. We've got different styles that we can utilise now this season. So I think he's an absolute key asset. And 20-1 to be top goal scorer. For the amount of chances we create as a football club.
It's worth it.
He looks a natural finisher, both feet, composed. Even in the friendlies, I know it's just friendlies, but those chances are chances, and he just never in doubt. One thing, and we always said it. This is not just saying it because he's gone now, but Vic, for all his strengths, he was a bit of a messy finisher at times. Like he would still score goals, but the way he went in, you got away with that, like slightly fortunate. Whereas Ellison seems even the goals for Sunderland last year, like clinical, like no doubt about it, Godden-esque sort of thing. But and he's a big lad, and I think he's 22. And what I love about all these deals, and we'll come to this, is the length of contracts. They're our assets. If Robbins and AD can work their magic and get him to score 35 goals over the next 2 seasons.
Other than Binks, these are all 3 and 4 year contracts.
Yeah, just Collins and Sakamoto are 3 as well, I think. That's it. Yeah.
I mean, 4 years, we're just talking about Hamer, potentially going on a free. 4 years of Ellis Sims. You got 3 years to get him to a good value and get the best out of him and still sell him.
And if he gets 20 goals in 2 seasons and does what Vic did, he's then got 2 years left on his contract, and we got 20 million for Vic with 1 year left on his contract. So then we've set the benchmark of, if you want Ellis Sims, English striker, He's had a taste of the Prem. If anything, he'd probably be more appealing.
Home to a Premier League club.
He'd probably be more
For the
appealing to a
quota.
Premier League
Yeah.
side.
As a better
100%,
finisher
yeah.
as well, he would be worth more.
So, and then you go, well, like look at what Ollie Watkins went for. So we've
Speculate to accumulate.
future planning,
100%
isn't it?
all the time.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a different player to Vic. Definitely more of a finisher. I remember a lot of games last season where we'd waste a couple of chances first half. I remember the Millwall game, I think it was, should have been 2 or 3 up at half time. To be fair to Vic, he did create his own goal and won the game.
Goal of the season for me. But
Yeah, but, if we have an actual natural finisher there, we can sew games up early doors. So, very exciting. Sign number 3. Oh, I've got to pronounce his first name here.
Tatsuhiro.
Tats the hero. Tats is the hero.
Tats is the hero.
Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, £2 million or around that mark from Oostende. 3-year deal this time. Mark Robbins said, having impressed in his native country, continued to do so in Belgium. We look forward to welcoming him to English football. He's a versatile and creative attacking midfielder with good technical ability and pace, and we look forward to working with him. Dean, another one, again, came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, you just Robin said a creative attacking midfielder.
Well, I was going to say,
he's not
interesting.
played him in that position at all during pre-season. He's played him as a right wing back every single game.
Is that because we are short? Well, we were short.
Yeah,
until
potentially, and he's played in that position before, but I don't see him in that position. It doesn't look like he's got the attributes really.
You don't see him in what position?
Right wing back.
Right.
So
I think he could do a job there, a la Eccles.
Which begs the question then, when I was going to ask about, is how do you utilise him then? Does he even start in the starting lineup, or is he more of like a Jody Jones type player who comes on, you change the system, he can get balls in the box? Is it that sort of player?
I think it's all dependent on system. I think in a fourth, it's sort of it's not an old school 4-4-2, but you don't play that now. But in that sort of 4-3-1 thing that they've done in the past, I think he works in that sort of role as maybe one of the 3 in midfield that are a little bit wider. But yeah, I haven't seen him in that attacking role as such yet. So I mean, there's question marks.
We didn't have a right wing back though, did we? Really? Is Burrows a right wing back?
No, yeah. I mean, Burrows.
But we were very high up, and I guess that's the thing is, if we're going to go back to 2 years ago when Maatsen more so than Dabo that year, but he was literally so high up, so he was literally a winger. If we're going to do that, in the MK Dons friendly, yes, I mean they were rubbish, but like he came on and he was receiving the ball halfway in their half every single time. So it was like, I think in games where we want to go on the front foot, I could see him being deployed there because he'd be more of a winger and then
rather than wing back.
Yeah.
But him and De Silva could actually play as wingers and just have a 3 at the back system.
And then you could have Kelly and Sheaf or something, and Hamer as a free role. So we've got options. But yeah, I think he adds that unknown quantity, doesn't it?
It's exciting.
I think Robin said something like we were scouting somebody else in that league, and then we spotted him and went, "Oh, who's that guy?" And I love signings like this. You sort of, it did make me laugh though. He'd already travelled to Portugal, and then Dave Boddy was interviewed. He was like, "Is he signing?" And he was like, "Well, there's no smoke without fire." It's like, well, he's there.
There's
then,
no
isn't
smoke
he?
without seeing him at the airport.
Yeah, see him at the airport, full training kit.
Yeah, excited to see. I think he gives me Michael Mifsud vibes in terms of like
yeah.
he could do some moments where we go, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So yeah.
To us, they could have snuck him in one of those kit bags out to the training thing, and someone would have still posted the picture on Twitter, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's mad. Be like that guy in Ocean's 12 when he breaks into the vault and gets out the back.
Does his
But yeah,
announcement on
I think he's super exciting, and I'm really intrigued to see how he gets on both in English football and to see how we utilise.
I just hope he settles well. That's my only thing. Hope he settles. But if he settled in Belgium,
But then you look at also that's so important to have the ethics at the club.
Yeah,
to settle people in.
Because I know he's learning English, for example.
And I've
Don't
seen
listen
him,
to this podcast. If you're not learning English.
I've seen him play 20 minutes against MK Dons. I don't need to see him in the league. I know already he is way better than Sean Maguire. So we've already upgraded that position. So.
Sign number 4, Brad Collins, goalkeeper. Undisclosed fee, but thought to be in the region of about 500k from Barnsley. This one's a 3-year deal. Mark Robbins had to say he has great pedigree and an excellent goalkeeping ability.
Told you not to learn English in this podcast.
Yeah, he has excellent pedigree and excellent goalkeeping ability. His time with Barnsley plus his loan spells have given him good experience while still being relatively young for a keeper. He'll add further competition to the goalkeeping area, and we look forward to working with him. Do you reckon there's anyone he said he isn't looking forward to working with?
That would be hilarious. Yeah, thanks for coming, but I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, you're a
but
bit wild card.
Yeah, welcome.
Maybe when Bright signed, that's what he said. But yeah, Ross, a good signing here. He's had a good couple of years at Barnsley. Obviously, he was the guy who saved the Vic penalty, if you remember, start of season before last. Obviously made the playoffs last year, so looks to be a good signing in the goalkeeper position.
Yeah, very good. I think we all felt like we needed a goalkeeper who was going to come in the summer, and because we thought Moore would be off, and he may still be, but I think it's a really good signing. Barnsley fans speak very highly of him. Even the season when they got relegated, he was like very, very good, and then like got an injury and then sort of lost his place or whatever. And then like you say, last year as well. So I think he's very good, and actually watching him play the whole game against MK Dons in the friendly, the way he was showing for the ball, because Robbins alluded to it, was very different. Like, he was really stepping out, and I'm thinking, I've never seen Wilson do that, and that's not a criticism of him.
It's the distribution that he's going to provide.
He was making it almost. He was like joining the three centre backs as like a fourth centre back at times.
The Edison role,
the Brad Collins role.
Well, and he's probably having to try and prove himself in pre-season, right? So
he's got to knock out the Golden Glove winner. Not metaphorically, but he's going to take the number one shirt.
Well, I heard
from
that
him.
He smacked him in the back, and that's why his back spasmed up.
This has been an interesting debate on social. I haven't really got stuck into it, but I've been watching from afar, and certain COF fans,
saved it for tonight.
Certain COF fans are absolutely adamant that Collins is going to start against Leicester.
No, if Wilson's fit, Wilson starts. You can't drop the Golden Glove
It's
winner,
his to lose,
regardless of what happens.
And I don't think Brad Collins would he'd understand that. I don't think he'd mind that. You can't sign from Barnsley on 500 grand and be like, demand to be number one.
Yeah, playoff losers.
I imagine the conversation would have been, right, you come into this team, Championship, whatever, we're going to be fighting for promotion, but we've got the best keeper in the league on paper. You're going to have to fight for your place, but we have a very fair policy here. If you get your chance, you get your chance.
You say, look, what happened last season with Moore. Moore was one of the standout goalkeepers the year before, comes into the league, doesn't perform, he's out. You say,
it's a very fair policy.
It happened at this club last year. It can happen again. Fight for the place.
I've switched though on this. So I would play Wilson. I completely agree. Golden Glove winner. He was excellent. He deserves to start. And I was adamant, literally up until maybe like 10 days ago. I was like, Wilson will start. I do think Collins will start. And what made me think that is Robbins's quotes when he was like, there was just certain things he said about this is why we brought him in. Wilson's injury is just perfect as well for Robbins to go, you've missed the last 2 games. He's going to start Collins.
That could be it.
He will.
The injury is going to be key now in that decision being made.
Do you think Robbins deep down, fancies Wilson as number one?
I think deep down he might fancy Collins as number one.
No, I deep down I think he finds Wilson number one.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, but just because of what happened last year.
He's not sentimental though, is he?
No, I mean long term. I don't mean like as in.
But he's
maybe
not sentimental. He's not sentimental though.
Maybe not long term. You don't bring in a new goalkeeper during the summer that you've been chasing for, and not think he's going to be number one long term. But for the time being, you can't drop the Golden Glove winner. It's like you can't do that.
I agree. I
thought the squad numbers might have helped with it, but they haven't. Did you have a look at that on the website?
Well, they announced them.
Well, they haven't
announced it. I don't know if you've heard this summer. We're not announcing things.
No.
We're just.
It's on the website.
It's just stuff happens. People find out. Put it on Twitter. And then the club admins go.
Yeah. Well, because Simon Moore's still here, he's number one on the website, and Collins has been given number 40, which is a weird number. But it doesn't matter these days, does it?
No, it doesn't. And the Moore situation is very odd because it looks like he was going to go to Arsenal.
As like a number 3.
Yes, but now that's not going to happen because that Raya's going from Brentford to Arsenal, so that's not going to happen because they'll have Turner and what's his name? He's a goalkeeper at Arsenal. Ramsdale. So that's not going to happen. So now what happens to Simon Moore? What happens in that situation?
Yeah. Did we sign him on a free?
Yeah, we did, and this is his last season.
But he's probably on good wages.
So he will be.
You wouldn't think we'd be holding out for like a big fee for him because we've got him for free.
Do we want
and he's better to be off the wage bill.
You don't want all free. You've got two academy goalkeepers.
I'm decent in goal as well.
Both.
No, who's it?
Kieran Tyler. Is it Tyler? Well, anyway, both of them are highly regarded from the academy. Yeah. So
You don't need a number
if
3.
the worst came to worst, there's options
If
there.
worst came to worst, we've got
also-
Andy Griso, who's goalkeeper.
and also,
It's
goalkeepers,
cheap as well.
goalkeepers such a specialised area, you can get an emergency loan. So there's no point having 3 goalkeepers in this
Yeah,
division.
we had League. Was it Lee Grant? No. Who do we have?
Um,
Lee Camp.
Lee Camp,
Lee Camp.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
funny when we did the night with Ben Wilson, and he said that Lee Camp was supposed to start, and then Robbins looked at him in training and was like,
Oh, no.
"You're miles off,"
You
sort of
are
thing.
miles off it.
But I do think Collins will start on Sunday.
I think because of the injury to
yeah,
Wilson.
he's been out for 2
probably.
weeks, Wilson. So yeah, that's inevitable. That will happen. Yeah.
But then to wind Clough fans up, I'm going to say it's only because of the injury to Wilson.
Oh, well, I'm in agreement with you. So let's get on that wind up together.
No, I agree with that. I think if Wilson hadn't got a single injury, then I'd be saying Wilson has to start. It'd be very unfair not to,
Right. Signing number 5. Getting through these slowly but surely.
Signing number
I
5.
was going to say last year this section was really quick,
It's like an Argos order. Yeah. Cash in number 5, please.
Yeah. Signing number 5. Joel Latabodier, I'm going with. This was a free signing, but we did have to pay Swansea about 500 grand of compensation due to his age. Another 4-year deal. Mark Robbins said Joel is a composed ball-playing centre-half who has experience of playing in the Championship and also internationally. He's a versatile defender who fits in with our style of play and is an important signing for us, and we look forward to working with him. Ross, a much-needed centre-half signing here. Felt like we were never going to get any. Not the tallest of players, and interestingly, he did play more as a left wing back at Swansea, which I thought was. I looked him up straight away, and it was like not that tall, and played as a left wing back, which made it.
And then for Jamaica was playing central defensive mid,
and he was,
Hamer role,
and he was
thing.
brilliant.
And he was brilliant.
in that
So
Jamaican team, during the summer.
I really like this signing, and again, this is another one that when I was looking at, teams were starting to put out their retain lists, and Swansea announced that, Manning and Latabodier were not going to renew their contracts, I was like, I think he'd be really good. Again, perfect age. He's been playing in a side who are all about passing. So, from what I've seen of him already, looks so composed on the ball, versatile, gives us options. And I loved his interview. I actually love all the play. Like, he comes across like a real leader. And that's what we want. If we can, the more of these sort of leaders we can have, all these 4-year deals, we're building like the next sort of spine for the next sort of 3 or 4 seasons. So I think he's brilliant, because also then at least fans were like, we've got another centre back, because I think some people felt like it was just going to be Bidwell, Fads and Howley for the season. So no, I was really pleased with this signing, and Swansea fans say he's rubbish, so I know he's going to be absolutely amazing, because they said that about Vic.
That's probably the most exciting thing about him is that Swansea fans don't rate him.
To be fair, there was a few Swansea fans who did say, like, why are we not keeping him around? So when you have that sort of mixture, especially from Swansea, it's like you want a winner. So yeah,
but it's a bit like that. We've got players that have gone like a Michael Rose. It's like always a bit mixture, isn't it? When they go off on the free, it's like some say, well, why couldn't we get the best out of him? Some are like, time to move on. It's always the way.
It's funny because McNally's going to Stoke and he's going to keep Michael Rose out of the team again. Just what happened here.
Yeah, he's quickly becoming Michael Rose's biggest enemy. Signing number 6. Bobby Thomas.
Come in, signing number 6. Like Silla next.
Bobby Thomas on a £2 million deal from Burnley, another 4-year deal. Mark Robbins said he's a talented young defender who's highly rated and had an impressive loan spell at both Bristol Rovers and Barnsley last season. He has good defensive attributes and is also comfortable with the ball at his feet too. So yeah, another key signing in the defence, Dean.
Yeah, massive. I think this is probably, for me, one of the key signings of the summer. I think he looks a terrific prospect. Feels to me like a natural Fads replacement. I think this is the year where Fads will be sort of...
We'll say that every year,
not shown the door, but gradually sort of faded out.
Which has to happen at some point.
It does, and I think this might be the natural year for that to happen, and he is the perfect replacement for me. He's dominating, he's massive, he's got really good ball-playing capabilities as well.
He's got a goal in him as well.
Got a goal.
Six goals last season.
The height. I mean, look at all some of the signs we've made here. They're all tall players. Who's got the throw? Has Bobby Thomas got the throw?
Yes, he has.
So he's got the throw. The massive
so he's going to throw it up high, running.
Yeah,
knock it himself.
Just throw it as high as Oggy's goal kicks and knock it in himself. But yeah, a really key signing for me. I think it's a real fantastic signing, and I'm really looking forward to him getting stuck in, and because he won't give a shit, basically. He'll just get stuck right in, and that's what we need there.
Yeah. Signing number 7, Milan van Ewijk.
Milan van Ewijk.
Ewijk. I'll get that right by the start of the season.
He's got a song already because we're going to nick it from Heerenveen.
What is this song, Dean?
It's just Seven Nation Armies.
I'm not sure how that goes.
Milan van Ewijk.
Yeah, nice.
Like that. Really.
Like the Michael Van Gogh song.
Yeah,
Dean
yeah.
thought Michael
I
Van
actually
Gogh
thought it
was
was
the
Michael. I thought, hold on a minute, why is Michael Van Gogh the sign? We've got our own darts team now. Brilliant. But yeah, I was disappointed when I saw it was Ewijk instead of Van Gogh. But there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, 4 million euros reported, rising to 6 million from Heerenveen. That's another 4-year deal. Yeah, as you said, all 3 and 4 year deals.
They're all 3 or 4, yeah.
But yeah, Mark Robin said he's an exciting player who really fits with the way we play at Coventry City. He has great pace and also quality going forwards, as well as defensive ability too. So yeah, really exciting one, Ross.
This is another one that was like, it was reported very early on in the window. You know, there was a lot of sort of nonsense rumours, but this one never seemed to go away, and then it just kept coming back, and I kept thinking, again, this is no one. Nice things don't sort of happen to us. Do you know what I mean? You know, and eventually I stayed away from it because I was like, I don't want to, fall in love and then to be heartbroken. And then eventually I was like, I'm going to watch the YouTube. And then I watched it and I was like...
I like how he's called it the YouTube.
The YouTube.
You are so old.
I'm younger than you. But no, I was watching it, and honestly it was like, yeah, he looked unbelievable. Like, to think that, I mean, you think some of the right backs I had, Stephen Wright, McNamee, some bad right, and then recently Toddy Kane and that, and you think, this guy looks a joke. I mean, Dutch fans and other fans couldn't believe that PSV and that weren't going in for him, and for the price, and that he's the fastest player, like actual pace. Like, I love Dabo, but the last sort of 18 months, if he sprinted more than 80%, you look like his hamstring was gonna ping. So it's gonna be not this guy again. Perfect age. If he has a blistering couple of seasons, people are saying like Kyle Walker sort of esque.
Yeah, we beat Leeds to the signing. We beat Bournemouth to the signing. PSV and Ajax are interested. So this is a different territory. I'm kind of have to pinch yourself. Goes, are we supporting the right club here? What's going on? But
also that afternoon when it was announced, if you're one of those people on the forum who fell for the rumor about the media duties. What's going on? Shame.
Like, what is going on?
It was embarrassing.
It was
embarrassing. Yeah, I sent it to Wardy, and Wardy shat himself.
Because Ross texted he was like, Van, I can't say it.
He texted me the same thing.
He said, Milan's off. And I was like, what are you on about, mate? Yeah, and he's like, read the forum, Milan is off.
I said, he's not showed up for his media duties, mate.
And as soon as you read the forum, I just put my phone back down.
I can't remember what I actually said to you, but yeah, I'm going to find out. I think I told you to shut up.
Dino said, just stay off the forum. Yeah. But no, it was a brilliant signing. How do you feel?
Yeah, brilliant signing, mate. A massive upgrade on Dabo. I like to thank you, Dabo. We interviewed him at the tavern. Great guy, but it was time to move on. We had to improve in that area. Fastest player in Holland. I'll take it. Brilliant.
Loved his interview as well.
Oh,
he was absolutely.
Do you know what? Actually, out of all the interviews, I was most impressed by his. I thought he spoke really well. Really like how he gets in with the fans as well. Like he was with the fans at Exeter. See the video of him with the Heerenveen fans as well?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you not see that?
No.
There was a video of like fans outside the ground with like flares, and he was like going for
wicked.
it. And, yeah.
So love Singer's Corner.
A bit like he's going through this message. A bit like all the like moments we've had with O'Hare with like Tom Grennan stuff and like the sunglasses. He just feels like one of those players who's going to create those like moments in history.
Moments, 100%. Yeah. So Ross said Van Ewijk steals off, gutted. My reply was, get off SBT. Mate, the goons on there, why are people lapping it up? Oh my God, this is what I replied to him. Oh my God, you actually just made me went to look. For fuck's sake, what am I reading?
Yeah, mine was similar.
It's just like, just stop. Just like... It's Why Not Merchants, of course it is. But some of the people on there...
And it's worked, because we've ranted about it for about an hour and a half. But
some people are just like...
But they believe it. They
exactly.
do.
They lap it up, and that's the problem we have. Yeah, it's just pure stupidity. Yeah, and the first thing they read is the truth, which is probably like
we get linked with a player from a credible source about this Hadji at right, and people are like,
Oh,
no,
I can't believe that.
Most, the most reputable Turkish journalist, no, but some random guy on Sky Blues talk, yeah, I know Milan's off, guys.
If I don't see him singing Jess Glynn on that Jet 2 plane for Antalya, then I don't believe it.
Signing number 8, Louis Binks, season-long loan from Bologna. Mark Robbins said he's an accomplished defender, is versatile and also good on the ball. Louis has a good background and experience too, having played in a number of countries, and we look forward to working with him this season. So Ross, he's had an interesting career. Louis Binks obviously came through the Spurs Academy, but then moved away. He's played in the US, and then he has played in Italy for the last couple of years. So I guess it's a slightly different career for an English player, but obviously now he's back playing in England. But looks to be a good signing.
He does, and I can't sit here and say that I sort of had heard of him or knew anything about him, but when you look into he's clearly like someone who's our scouts have seen the data, in those sort of switches of play, and you sort of only have to see a few graphics like that and go, I can see why he is going to fit into our system. Pinging those balls like Callum Doyle.
I got Callum Doyle vibes from his videos. Yeah,
and so. And like you say, I think again, really good interview. All the players seem to really come across really well. And like you say, he's had a good sort of youth sort of upbringing, and obviously being abroad and playing. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see him. And I think, obviously he's left-footed, so, it gives us that sort of natural option on that side. And again, that extra depth. And I think alone is probably the smart move with this one, I think. So
I think Doug King's clearly looking to make permanent transfers, not loans. But I think this is a smart one regardless. And I get the impression this is one that we want to buy and get him in long term, but maybe we could only do a loan at this stage.
You see how he does,
could be a
don't
loan
you?
with a view to buy potentially. Yeah,
It gives us a chance to have a look at him to have a look at us as well. So could suit both parties for put more permanent deal in the future.
He's basically doing what Ross Spencer's doing with SkyBluesExtra. He's on a loan, and we're going to assess his performance, and then we'll either chuck him out of the group or we'll keep him.
Yeah. But I think that's still a position I'd like to see a bit more strength in. Another left-sided centre-back. That's what I'd like to see.
I think that's definitely
an
because
addition.
we've got Latibodiere who has played there, but I think he's right with Thomas, and I think I agree.
Yeah. So obviously 8 signings through the door. What else would you be targeting before the end of the window, chaps?
That left centre-back. If Hadji Wright comes in, I'd want to see another striker or another type of different forward. So we've got 4 there.
Yeah, you want 4 strikers.
I'd want a striker sort of like another cam. I really want another cam.
So a centre forward,
streetwise, someone who could play a bit deeper.
Yeah,
who could play that. Yeah, I think let's say assume this right is happening. Him, a cam, a left centre back. Then I keep wondering about another right wing back because the whole Sakamoto thing.
Yeah,
I keep that's on my mind.
Burrows play there.
Yeah, and I mean you've got Eccles there,
but I think they could do with loans. I really thought Howley and that needed a loan this year. I want a centre mid actually. That's the other position. And regardless of if
you don't want much then, Ross. Just a few.
Well, Robin said I want 10 more, and now he's saying I want 3. Robin's out. No,
that was such an un-Robbins comment.
Yeah, what is he doing there?
Like, you don't do that, Robbins. You say we're getting 1 more and we get 3 more.
Yes, he under promises and we over deliver.
Got sent to high heavens there, didn't they?
Well, because they were all going well, and King's not giving him what he wants. Boo, not my King. So it was
number 5.
But no, I a centre mid I'd like because Alan is injured. Well, not injured, but he's had this health issue. So he's out. Obviously O'Hare is injured. He's not going to be really back till November. So I think the centre mid because Kelly, can we rely on him not to get injured? I'd say it's unlikely. So then you've got Hamer, Sheaf,
Latibodiere in that position.
You could suddenly be a bit short in midfield.
Yeah. So I'd love 4 more: a left centre back, centre mid, striker, cam. 5 more, and a right wing back.
Right wing back. Yeah.
There we go.
So assuming everyone is fit, chaps, how are you setting up for the season, Dean? What would you like to see on Sunday?
If everyone was fit, the whole squad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would go with Wilson.
Well, I suppose there's the pre-O'Hare and the post-O'Hare, isn't there?
Okay, let me give you post-O'Hare because that's how I think they'll want to set up. Yeah, the Monstars, shall we say? So I would go with Wilson, Van Avac, Latibodiere, Thomas, Binks, De Silva, Sheaf, Hamer, Palmer, O'Hare, Sims.
Tell you what, that is some team. When you read it out.
If you got that...
Say again, Palmer and who?
Palmer and O'Hare
O'Hare,
behind Sims. That's a good team.
What about our record signing, do you know?
We haven't got him in the door yet.
All right. Well, you're saying post O'Hare. Well, we better have. If he's not in by the time O'Hare comes back.
As I've recorded. No, but yeah, O'Hare's
I think
still part of the squad.
that is the strongest lineup you could have with everyone fit.
But then you could also drop one of those camps. So you drop a Palmer
go two.
And go two.
Yeah.
Go with Wright and Sims, and then you've got a powerhouse there.
And two big centre forwards as well.
I'd agree with all that, apart from, I think, whoever the new left centre back to start.
Ahead of Binks.
Yeah, I think Binks has been...
I think Binks is going to be a little gem this year.
I think so, yeah.
Mate.
I just think like Spurs Academy. Like,
yeah, and when you've got that hair and them teeth, you're coming in and showing the business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's all Dino had to do. Everyone would smile at us and we
Not
went...
with my teeth, mate. I could eat an apple through a letterbox.
I agree with
there
you.
You go. It's like,
I think he'll be like a bit of a Callum Doyle. Like, he's come through a Premier League academy.
Yeah.
He's been taught a certain way to play.
There's some quality there. And
He's
you know
gone
what I
to
like about him? He's gone to America. He's gone to Italy. You know, out of the America's not out of comfort zone, but he's gone out of what he knows. And he's come back.
He's prepared to live in Coventry.
Yeah. I mean, what
From Bologna.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To the Sky Blues.
To cold Tuesday nights at the CBS.
Yeah, exactly. The only good pasta we've got is like Pizza Express. You know, that's and that's putting good lightly. You know what I mean? So it's yeah. I think he's going to be a bit of a gem. But then you've got then you look at the squad as a whole, and you've got options.
Sakamoto.
Options.
Allen, whoever the other sort of cam is we get, like you say, Godden.
You've got Godden there. Yeah, there's options there.
Yeah.
You know, Eccles is started to come into his own as well.
Yeah,
the last couple of
Eccles.
months, you know,
He was my own sort of unsung hero on the awards last year. So
Abikwu has shown himself in a good light during this pre-season. So yeah. And if we get 4 or 5 more players, they're all going to be good quality.
Yeah.
Just
well, because we've got 9 subs this year.
9 subs, so it's just adding to options on the bench. So in an ideal world, we're going to have a really, really strong 11 and even stronger bench than we've ever experienced, I think.
Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about other teams in the league. Dean, I know you like to study other teams and what they've been up to. Who have you got your eye on this season? Who do you think will be strong? Who do you think will struggle this year?
Not in the case of, I think they'll be strong. I think they've still got some teething to do, but I really like the business that Birmingham have done. I thought they brought in some really good signings, especially in Bielik and Dembele. I think they'll struggle for goals, but the signs are they're sort of on their way back a little bit. Stoke, big turnover in talent there.
Coventry B team.
Yeah, but they've brought in some really strong additions. I mean, Mark Travers and Ender Stevens, you know, they were in teams of the season not too long ago in the Championship, so I think they're looking stronger. Middlesbrough, you know, losing Archer at this stage. By the way, Archer is the sort of the cam striker that we should be looking at from Villa if they're allowing him to go. But yeah, Middlesbrough brought in Sonny Dieng, Morgan Rogers, Van der Berg looks a really good prospect to centre half. So really interested to see how Michael Carrick goes again this year. I think they'll be there or thereabouts, those automatic promotion places, Middlesbrough. And then you've got Norwich and Watford have brought in signings, but both of those teams are looking at making a real run at the 2017-2018 Championship season with the players they brought in. You know, it's the OAP's home, isn't it? Ashley Barnes, Shane Duffy, Tom Ince, Jake Livermore, those types of players. So yeah, intrigued to see how they go on. And as for clubs at the bottom end of the division, it's your Cardiff, your Sheffield Wednesdays, Rotherham, Huddersfield, Bristol, Plymouth. I think they're out of those 6, they're the teams that we're going to be looking to try and survive this season. So yeah, and we've spoken about this being the strongest championship on paper. Like I said, judge it at the end of the season, not where we are now. To see how that is. Yeah.
Ross, any thoughts on goings elsewhere in the Championship?
Yeah, so I think obviously the 3 teams who got relegated from the Premier League, I think they will all do better than 2 of the 3 that got relegated last year.
They've kept the majority of their squad, though, in that case,
think,
haven't they? That's
I
why.
also think, Norwich were an up and down yo-yo side, as were Watford really, but they sort of did it almost every other year. Leicester, literally 2 seasons ago, had 2 5th-place finishes, and their fans were moaning because they won the FA Cup but lost out in Champions League. They really, with that squad, shouldn't shouldn't have got relegated. So it was.
I think they're the strongest team to come down.
In terms of like.
Yeah.
To get relegated, the strongest team to get relegated from the Prem.
Yeah, but I think Southampton are better equipped for the Championship.
Oh, do you
coming
mean
into it.
strongest out of these three?
For their season in the Premier League, they're the strongest team to go down.
Yeah.
For the players they had.
Yeah,
Yes,
with
in terms of
Barnes,
your Madisons and stuff.
yeah,
You go individual because obviously when Newcastle got relegated, they were like the biggest sort of club, but they were like a poor side. But yeah, I agree. I mean, they've obviously lost those players. I'm not overwhelmed by their signings. I think if Doug King had, if we'd sold Vic and then Doug King had a photo up here with Cody and Winks and gone, here's your Vic money, would we have been happy? I really wouldn't. I would not have been at all. I'd rather us have bought Milan.
It's what you've said for years about
and
signing names over actually good up and coming
They've done
players.
that because on the basis they think they're going to get promoted first time, and they've got 2 ready-made Premier League players. But
I don't think he's.
It doesn't work like that.
No, so Callum Doyle on loan. Yeah, obviously he's good. It's pretty predictable with obviously Maresca. The Man City connections. I think Southampton is going to be interesting because Russell Martin's actually going to have a better quality player to try and impose that sort of dominant possession style. And Leeds haven't necessarily signed anyone, but they're not really lost anybody.
Well,
and
they've
and
10
loan.
players on loan that were like Premier League starters.
True.
Yeah.
But they're sort of there's some key players there who have won the league before.
Yeah,
Luke
they still have a good side.
Your Cooper,
Sinistera is still there as a good player.
Gonto.
Nonto,
in terms of the thing that... So those three I'd expect to all be in the top 6, or top 7, somewhere around it. The teams getting promoted, I'd love to know what you two make of, the fanfare for Ipswich
I don't buy it.
Town Football Club.
I do not buy this one bit because they haven't...
I think it's me that predicted them to finish 6th
The players they brought in are not proven Championship quality, I would say. Okay, they were very good in League One, but we were also very good in League One and struggled that first year in the Championship. And I think that's the mark of which we should, rate these teams. Ipswich, they've got this, obviously, an up-and-coming manager who is highly regarded, and they play some attractive football, but it doesn't always work in this division.
I just saw them as a bit of a Sunderland, doing what Sunderland did last year.
But they're not. Have you seen their signings? This is what I don't get with the Ipswich thing is they're like 4th favourites according to the bookies. And the NCT 20 ever put them 3rd, and they said, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got 1st or 2nd. I'm thinking they've signed 2 League One players and they finished 2nd. That people are saying they're the best League One side ever, who finished second in League One to Plymouth. Yet they've got Plymouth down in 17th, who have actually re-signed the people who
and some good players. Some really good players.
So I look at it and I go, and I looked and they released their squad numbers. So I looked at the Ipswich Town squad and I thought, okay, let me actually look at this. And I'm thinking, Connor Chaplin and Ladapo or Ellis Sims and Godden. And I'm thinking, I know who I'm picking. Wes Burns or Sakamoto or Milan. Yeah, I know who I'm picking. And I go through it and I go, and then I went down to number 17 on this, and it was Ed Sheeran. I thought, he looks a good player. He was there. No joke. He's on
great for
on the
half-time.
numbers.
Pick me up, a couple of songs, give us a tune.
He is on the number. But yeah, I just think, I just find it,
I find it baffling.
Because there is a step up. We know how big the step up was. We saw players who were unbelievable in that League One winning season go to the Championship, and we went, they were shadows of themselves. And I just think it's so like you say, there might be a team who sort of surprises, but I think to sort of disregard Ipswich haven't done any more than what Plymouth have done in terms of they've basically kept the same team. So why are Plymouth going to really struggle and Ipswich is suddenly? But people who said they've got the infrastructure. Great.
Doesn't mean a lot, does it?
No,
doesn't mean a lot.
Ask Luton.
There's a lot of better clubs that have come into this division and struggled.
And there's a lot of worse clubs who've done better. Look,
exactly.
Luton.
So they're
having a Coventry City situation with their home games next year in the Prem.
It's absolutely wild. That prediction for Ipswich, I just can't see it personally. But there you go. What do I know? I'm only on a podcast.
Let's move on to the predictions. My favourite part of the podcast.
Bookmark these.
I would encourage anyone to look back at last year's predictions because it is quite entertaining. I think I predicted Burnley to go down.
Actually,
Dino had Hamer as his biggest disappointment.
He was until that Birmingham game, I might add. But I saw somebody...
And then he watched the pod back and thought, I better
sort myself out here. Can't have him putting me down. But I saw someone on the SkyBlues Talk forum saying, one of the lads from SkyBluesExtra, but he said Burnley would go down. What's he smoking? And I thought, who said that? I can't remember that. And then you reminded me today it was you, Tom. So
yeah,
I'll go back and remind that guy.
I think it's because, I don't know, and that preview pod we did last year, we were really trying to force a rivalry with Burnley. We were banging on about, but a lot of us put Burnley as the game we were looking forward to the most.
Yeah, why? We got
Do you know what I mean?
smacked.
Yeah, I know.
What a load of nonsense that is. But anyway, we'll do some more poor predictions this year anyway. Cool. Let's start with top goal scorer for the Sky Blues. Dean, you
Ellis
can go
Sims.
first.
Yeah, Ellis Sims.
I'm going to go Sims as well. And for the chaps that aren't here, Ross Spence, Dave, Andy and Matt, they've all gone for Ellis Sims as well. So that one was pretty simple. Best signing?
Van Avak.
Bobby Thomas.
Van Avak for me as well. Ross has gone with Van Avak, Dave has gone with Sakamoto, Andy's gone with Ellis Sims, and Matt has gone with Ellis Sims. Signing that will be a flop?
Sakamoto. Only because I don't think we know his best position. That's so got to come back and bite me on the arse, isn't it? But yeah, Sakamoto for me.
I know what you mean.
I just think he's going to take him time to bed in, and it's going to take us time to find what his best position in this league is going to be for our team.
That's all right. Yeah, that's fine.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't want any of them to be a flop. I sort of just have a...
I did say Vic 2 years ago.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Maybe I might go Binks. Just like... Because
Are you calling him Jar Jar now already? Or
No, because I think, like I said, I think we'll bring in another left centre back who will start. So I just think he won't play that much, but I hope he does.
I'm going to go Sakamoto as well, but only because I just think out of all the players who signed, he could not
he's the
settle.
wild card, right?
He could be. There's a small chance it could be a Hillsner situation, but a very, very small chance. I don't think it will happen, but that's just because I have such good faith in all our signings that it's very hard to pick. So, Ross Spence has gone with Collins, Dave has gone with De Silva, Andy's gone with Collins, and Matt has gone with Binks. So a bit of a mixture there. Interesting. Breakthrough player.
I'm going with a Bikwu, and it might not be with us. It might be on loan somewhere, but I think he will break through into being a very much sought after talent.
I think he'll find it really hard to break through. At us. I mean, look at Tavares.
Yeah, it'll be difficult. But if he breaks through on loan somewhere else, happy days. I think he's got the touch of Adebayo's about him. And I think he's going to be a really, really key asset going forward. So I'm really intrigued to see how he gets on. So I do hope he gets, if it's not with us early in the season, because he could be that fourth choice striker for now. If he goes out on loan, I think he'll get some good opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, to be honest, because I feel like the rest of our squad have really broken through because they almost had to. And I can't really think of... I did want to say that. I was going to say that Marco Russ.
Yeah.
But he's been injured, hasn't he?
That's really tough for him to be injured during this whole pre-season where we've relied on these kids.
Because he plays on that right wing-back side. Yeah. He was the one who I thought, you know what? I think he's potentially the next cab off the rank sort of thing. But yeah, I'd go with the Bikwu because again on MK Dons and he actually looked like he potentially had more about him than Tavares, I think. So yeah, I'll go with the Bikwu.
I'm going to go with Ryan Howley. I think you talk about needing another centre mid. I think he could be someone who can step up this year. I've been really impressed with him.
That's why the cup runs are so important because the likes of Howley
he could play a big role.
Gets a role, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Ross Spencer's gone with Sheath. I'm not sure he quite understood the question there. No, to be fair, he said...
Break through what? Break through the...
He said to me...
Challenge.
He sent it to me and said that it was just because he can see Sheath going to a different level this year.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
Just go up another level. So, yeah, that's fair enough. Dave's gone with Burrows, Andy's gone with Howley, and Matt has gone with Josh Eccles, who, again, I'd argue is probably...
I thought that's
a
real breakthrough,
again, probably will go to another. I actually think Eccles will go to another level this year because he's improved year on year, really, really well. Yeah. League position for the Sky Blues.
6th.
I haven't actually thought about this.
No, I haven't thought about it.
Do you know what? Now I've said 6th. For us talking, I'm so excited. I'm going to change it 2nd. And that's not, that is
because of tonight.
That is no bullshit. I'm in.
Because there aren't
I'm going to buy
flops.
a season ticket. I can only go to 4 home games this year. I'm going to go buy a season left
get
here.
a Prem package.
Get a Prem pack. It's happening. Buying a shirt that won't be delivered until the 3rd game of the season. Nah.
You've heard it first.
No, the six for me. Yeah, that's the. I think that would constitute a good year. 6th.
I'm going to go 3rd because we've been one step behind Luton every single year. They've been one step ahead. They finished 5th. We finished 5th. They then finished 3rd, and we're going to do it. And those memories are going to go away, Dino.
Oh God,
at Wembley.
I'm going to sound really negative here, but I'm going to go 8th, just because.
Let's all say it, D. Come on,
But
you want to say
it wouldn't be a bad season. I just think it's going to be a hard year. I think there's a lot of big teams in the league. I think there's 7 teams that could finish above us. But I wouldn't be too disheartened if we finished 8th. I probably said the exact same thing last summer. But Ross has gone with 8th. Dave's gone with 8th. Andy's gone with 8th. Matt's gone with 9th.
Oh, the negative Nancy.
Never invite them
Hang
back.
on a minute. We got, what did you go?
3rd, 6th.
3rd, 6th, 8th, 9th.
Well, my really thinking, and I was just sat there, was I've never felt this like excited with the business we've done. Like we're actually signing people who I'm not having to pretend I'm like are going to be really good. Like I'm Sims and all these signings we spoke about, and I just think we've got the best manager in the league.
I also think we're technically the best footballing side in this league now.
Yeah.
As well with the options we have.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe Swansea are up there as well, but I think that will surprise a lot of teams.
If Hamer left before the end of the window, how much would it change your position?
I don't think it would change it. I think I'll stay with 6th. I think I trust the guys to, if he left, to replace him at least attempt to replace him.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Doesn't leave us with many options, but
the later it goes on, the more.
I think I do think we have quality there and enough quality coming back in O'Hare to maybe push us on.
Yeah. Average attendance at the CBS
22,500.
23 was that?
22.
22,500.
You were close last year.
I watched it back. You were about 60 out.
Yeah.
69 out.
Yeah,
He's in the 69 thing.
That's not bad then. That's right.
You stared at Dino and read it out
said
really
69.
weirdly.
Yeah, don't do it again, please. I'm just about over it.
Okay. So you're going what? 22,000.
22.5. Yeah.
So I'm going to go. 22,796.
It's like The Price is Right. You can be won over. You can't be won over.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I'll go 24,000.
How many season tickets we sold?
18 and a half.
18 on the last count, but
so I
could be up to 19 now.
Definitely going to get. We're going to get 3,000 walk-ups generally a week.
And you're going to get 3,000 or 4,000 away
fans. Yeah, especially likes of Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday in this division this year.
And the big games, you're going to get 28 to 30,000. Leicester at home, you're going to sell out, I think.
Yeah, to be fair, it's average, isn't it? I might have to up that, actually.
I'm still going to go with 22.5 because...
I think like 22 is the bare minimum.
What did you go for?
24.
Yeah, you could be right, to be fair. I
just think the crowds are up. 6,000 or 7,000 more season tickets, you know?
Anyway. Yeah, could do, yeah.
Our average was what, 20 and a half last year?
Yeah. It's gone up every year.
We've got 6,000 more season tickets. Anyway.
Too much math.
It's not the most interesting topic to debate
quick
on.
Math. Spent more time on that than play of the season.
Ross has gone with 23 and a half. Dave's gone with 22.7. Andy's gone with 22 and Matt's gone with 21 and a half. So
he's a Debbie Downer, isn't he, Matt?
If it's up to Matt, we're going to finish bottom half with about 10,000 on the ground.
Sold all our players.
Bring back Northampton. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Away day.
Away day you're most looking forward to?
Leeds.
Yeah, I'd agree. Leeds.
Probably because it's one of the only games I can get to this year. By the way, we are 3-0 down in this under-21s game.
Against Nuneaton.
Against Nuneaton.
Fair enough. Not my king.
Get him out.
Right,
King
Ross.
out.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, Leeds.
For me, Leicester, I think, opening day. The M69 derby's back.
Oh, look at me, I've got 1,500 points so I can go to Leicester away. Look at me. Super fan. Bringing your clapper? You got a clapper to bring
Oh,
him on?
God. Do they still have them there?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they're going to get terrorised if they're
Yeah, it's going to be mad. The atmosphere on Sunday is going to be electric.
Yeah, it's going to be mental. Ross has gone Leicester/Sunderland. Couldn't make his mind up there.
There are two teams.
Yeah.
It's like Havant and Waterlooville.
Yeah.
That's not allowed. We've got 22 players.
Dave's gone with Leicester. Andy's gone with Leicester. Matt's gone with Leicester. Home
game.
Oh, sorry. I've read this wrong.
Gone.
Away days were Leicester and Leeds for Ross. Dave Leeds, Andy West Brom, and Matt Sheff Wednesday. Home game you're most looking forward to?
Leicester. Yeah.
Yeah, Leicester.
Has to be a clean sweep, surely, for that.
Yeah, Leicester. Yeah, Leicester or Sunderland for me. Ross has gone Leicester or Sunderland. Dave Leicester, Andy Leicester, Matt Leicester.
The reason Leicester is because when we used to play them before, Singers Corner wasn't what it was. It was just all like dribs and drabs.
I think the rivalry is stronger now.
I want them to arrive and see Singers Corner in all its glory and seeing us all stand up going, I woke up this morning feeling fine.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
And not your mum's your dad.
Oh, mate, I cannot wait to sing that song again. It's been way
Honestly,
too long.
the rivalry is so much stronger now. Now we've been apart for like 10 years.
Yeah,
it feels like it's even more epic than what it was in the past.
I mean, they can obviously get us straight back with Premier League, FA Cup.
You'll never sing that.
Or,
Checker Trade Trophy champions.
Yeah.
You'll never sing that.
I think they did win that, didn't they?
No, it wasn't.
Did they?
No, they didn't.
They won the Carling Cup.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't know. Anyway, right. Next one is 3 teams to get promoted.
Southampton to win the league, Leicester to be second, Coventry to be promoted via the playoffs.
Whoa, love it.
As Ross stares back at me.
Leeds and Leicester automatics, and then Coventry City getting promoted by the playoffs.
Oh, I haven't thought about this enough. I'm going to go Leicester and Leeds to go automatics and a Watford to win the playoffs. Can't remember last they all win the playoffs. Wow. No, we're going to get automatics, Dean.
Oh, yeah.
Ross has gone with Southampton, Leicester, Leeds. Dave's gone with Leeds, Leicester, Watford. Andy's gone with Leicester, Borough and Sunderland. And Matt's gone with Leicester, Borough and Southampton. So a lot of the same sort of teams cropping up there. 3 teams to go down.
Rotherham, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, and I think Cardiff will be mightily lucky if they survive. Yeah. So I think maybe swap them out for Sheffield Wednesday, but I think they'll be very lucky to stay up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, QPR, big trouble. Sheffield Wednesday, and then I think it'll be one of Rotherham or Cardiff, and maybe possibly even I do fear not fear, but I think Huddersfield could be in trouble.
Huddersfield.
Don't know. They were lucky to survive last year.
I think Hull as well. I don't think Hull are in any great shape. No. I think they're going to struggle too.
Yeah, it's interesting here. Like Matt's put down Coventry. No,
then he would be off. I'd be done.
Yeah, I'm going to go with QPR, Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Ross has gone Plymouth, Rotherham, QPR. Dave's gone Rotherham, Plymouth, Birmingham. That's an interesting shout.
Birmingham, yeah. I saw that earlier.
Andy's gone Rotherham, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, and Matt's gone with Rotherham, Plymouth and Huddersfield.
Yeah, I think Plymouth are a little bit of a dark horse this year. I think they've got some really, really, really talented players. They've got a really good manager, and I think Morgan Whittaker is a good signing for them. I think he'll do some damage. Basically, he would have been an ideal 4th choice for us. Or 3rd choice.
Really well supported team as well. At home, they pack
and
it
a tough
out.
trip. That is a long way to go.
They'll pick up a lot of points at home this year.
A lot of away teams will not like going
we
down there.
We don't have a good record there, do we?
I remember Michael Misford scored a couple of goals in a Monday night football there.
4-2, didn't we?
And that's the only time I can remember us having a really good time at Plymouth.
I remember getting battered 4-0 there once.
Yeah.
That was pretty miserable.
So I think they might surprise. Not surprised in the shape of like fighting for playoffs or anything like that, but comfortable.
Like we were first year, and then finished 16th
yeah,
or something.
I think they'll be comfortable.
Yeah. Quick bonus one, chaps. Player of the season, which we haven't got from the other chaps, but we can do ours.
Ben Sheaf. I think this is the season he steps out of the shadow and into the limelight as one of the best players in the league, for me.
Ooh. Yeah, I sort of agree, but I think he's going to make the hat trick, and I think for the third straight year, Gus Hamer is going to leave us all in tatters because he's unbelievable, and then leaves on a free next summer.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Hamer as well if he stays. I think Sheaf will have an unbelievable season, but I think he is in the background a bit more than Hamer.
Fans look at
they could
goals,
both have equally as good season, but
what about if Hamer leaves? He's sort of the.
Oh, if Hamer leaves, then Sheaf steps up massively.
Yeah.
Big
And also, I don't want, if Hamer does leave, I know we're back on this conversation, but I don't want people to think Sheaf is the replacement. Let Sheaf be Sheaf.
Yeah.
He's not Hamer. He's not that same type of player. Let Sheaf do what Ben Sheaf does well, and we have an asset on our hands and one of the best players in the league.
Just an outside shout for that, Casey Palmer. I do. He's the sort of person
that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Yeah.
That's a really good shout. Quick word on the first few games, chaps. Our first 6 league games are Leicester away, Borough at home, Swansea away, Sunderland at home, Watford at home, and Hull away. I'd say that probably is about as tricky as it gets, Dean.
But those away games especially. I like our chances in those home games. And Hull away, we've apart from that weird hat trick, I think we've played well at Hull.
Yeah.
In the past.
I mean, last season wasn't fair because we weren't fair.
No, and it was an odd time to play them with sort of the predicament we were in. So I'm excited about those opening games. I mean, we're playing a Borough again at home.
Everyone's sick of that game. It's on Sky as well again.
Yeah, of course it is. Swansea away, is that on a Saturday or midweek?
It's on a Saturday.
It's a Saturday 19th, I think.
I think that changes complexions because every time I feel like we've played Swansea, it's been a midweek game.
Or like a bank holiday, like Easter type thing.
I think on a Saturday we'll get better support there, and I think that might spur us on. We might get a surprise victory there. But I'm excited. It's tough. I mean, every game's tough in this league, but I'm excited for those 6 games. And the Leicester game, I mean, it can't come quick enough. I mean, Leicester are so underprepared for this game. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's the best time to play them.
The perfect time. I mean, they lost to lower league opposition in friendlies. They went on a training camp in Asia, which actually turned out to be some marketing ploy rather than an actual training camp. They also had a game rained off over there. Played Sunday night in Singapore. Lost 4-0 to Liverpool. Didn't travel back till late Monday. Arriving Tuesday. Jet lag. Trust me, jet lag from Singapore is awful.
Yeah, it's the worst way around.
So, their manager's already airing thoughts about his transfers. He hasn't got his transfer targets. Cody's out for the majority of the season. So,
yeah, foot injury. At least a few months.
So it's
£8 million.
So it's like,
thank you.
It's the perfect time to play them. I don't think they're going to expect how good we are as a football team as well. I think their
memories of us are that pathetic Coventry when we always just, I don't mind losing. I can do, but we always used to lose with a whimper. Like we never got a shot on them. We just, all I can remember is like Craney and all those sort of players, and we just lose 2-0, and it just no bother. Whereas I feel like we've got characters.
Sven was in charge of them, wasn't he? The last time they beat us.
But they had people like Beckford and the other people who seem to get a bit of arrogance. Whereas I look at Joel Latabodiere, Bobby Thomas, he comes across in his image, I think he's not going to give a damn about them. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to show these any respect. Matty Godden, we've got people who really care about the shirt. So I think we've got as good a chance as we've ever had.
Yeah, 100%. I'm 5-1 to win for the playoff losers to win the opening game of the season. That is some odds. I'm all over that. 5-1. Which probably means we're going to get beat 2-0. But do you know what I mean? Like those odds. Those won't come around again this year.
Yeah,
we'll never be 5-1 again anywhere this season. So,
yeah, it's an interesting one. One of my mates is a Leicester fan, and I saw their team for their friendly against Liverpool, and I thought on paper it looked like a really good team. But he was like,
pass the ball
but
around.
he said, don't be fooled by that.
No.
Because he said half that team are new signings who haven't gelled and don't even know what we're doing yet. And the other half can't be asked to play
They've
for
got
the team.
no attacking
I
minded
mean, all those
midfield
big
players.
like Ndidi and Ricardo.
Patson Dak has checked
they
out.
can't be
Iheanacho doesn't
they
want to
can't be
play.
asked to play there.
Chowdhury, he was on loan at Watford,
Yep.
didn't pull up any
So
trees.
also-
Their midfield.
Harry Winks and Dewsbury Hall haven't got an attack-minded bone in their body. So, what have we got to be scared of? We're just going up against a team that have come down from the Premier League and they've got names. Names mean fuck all in this division. We've shown it in the past. We've beaten top quality sides. We look at Fulham. They had unbelievable players, unbelievable names in their team. We've absolutely trounced them home and away. Sheffield United the same.
Burnley away, we should have beat them last
Burnley
year.
away was
Watford.
one of our best performances last season, and we got nothing out of it. But we show we can compete, and that's why I think we go into Sunday with such high hopes, high estimations. Go there with positivity, show them what they're dealing with when dropping down a division, and it's a derby.
I just want our fans to sort of go, look at our squad and go, we've actually got, because it's easy to look at Hamer and Vic and go, and then just assume that everyone else is not very good. But would either of you swap Ben Sheaf for Harry Winks?
Absolutely not. No chance.
And you think that, and I agree. And then you go around the team and you actually go, actually, you know what? Like, we've got some really good players in our squad. So bring it on.
100%.
Well, let's grab a prediction then for Sunday as a way to round off. Dean,
2-0. 2-0 to Sky Blues.
Ross, what do you reckon, mate?
This is a tough one, obviously, being from Leicester.
I was about to say he's going to get his
Ali
door knocked
postcode
down.
over it.
Or he's going to go home and his windows are broken into.
I think I
Nothing to do with the football.
I'm going
just
to go
he lives in
one. I'm going to
Leicester.
go a 1-1 draw, but a really positive performance.
Yeah, I'm thinking 1-1 myself.
Debbie Downers, you two.
Well, Matt's
No.
put here 6-0 Leicester.
Yeah, Robin's out.
Robbings.
Robbing's out. Right, any sort of final thoughts and remarks from you two, Ross, on the season in general?
A really exciting season. We've obviously the window's not shut, and at the time of recording today, we've still got the whole of August. So, I'm sure there'll be several more signings, and obviously we will see what happens with Hamer. But I think either way, we've shown that we have a plan, and yes, we might have to be patient for our signings, but they're going to be worth it. We're not just signing bargain bucket players for, just to make up the numbers. I think the support, the vibe around the club is the best I've ever known it. To have that amount of season ticket holders, I think it's going to be class. I think the last few games of last season is what it's going to be like, every home game. And, it's going to be exciting. Bring it on.
Do you know?
3 words. Enjoy the ride.
I thought you were going to say, not my king. Those are your 3 words.
And also not my thing.
Cool. Well, I think that probably covers most of it, chaps. Thanks a lot for joining me this evening at the SkyBlue Tavern.
On the tavern.
Listeners, do make sure you book your space at the SkyBlue Tavern for the upcoming matches. Obviously got a couple of Sky games coming up, so make sure you get your space. They are showing it at Dylan's Brewery as well, if you want to go down there, if you haven't got a ticket for Leicester. They do show all the other sporting events too, obviously all the boxing, the ladies football, so get yourselves down here. It really is a fantastic place to watch live sport and enjoy a curry and a beer. As usual, you can get involved in the conversation as well, and all you need to do is use the hashtag SBE Podcast.